And we are live here with another real news here. Oh my god, it's been a crazy freaking week. But I just want to start off quickly saying I am so thankful President Trump pardoned Roger Stone. I
Well,
even. Oh,
he didn't
sorry.
pardon him.
Commence. Or what's the word? Commute.
Commuted.
I am. God, I'm getting drained. So I'm like, I gotta recharge tonight. But he freed Roger Stone of his prison time. Roger Stone is not going to spend a night in prison, thankfully. And it's funny because the night before, I was literally arguing with my dad. And I said, well, I think he's going to commute him. It's a good compromise. He's not fully pardoning him. So the crime is still going to be over his head, but he's not going to let his friend rot in jail. And sure enough, Friday evening, perfect timing, Trump freed Roger. I am so happy. I think it's fabulous. I mean, he's going to need a pardon eventually, and it's going to happen probably on Trump's last day of office, but in the second term. But this was a great move. Perfect. The base is going to love it. To me, it's a total win. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Well, the only problem is, like, there's going to be people that are be like, well, why didn't he just fully pardon him?
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll get those onesies and twosies. And I have to say, just quit your fucking complaining, okay? Roger Stone's commuted. He's not going to serve a day in jail. And I mean, okay, so it's like it was a good compromise because it's like, okay, like you said, he technically he did break the law, even though it was like those were sham charges, but technically he did break the law. And then,
Yep.
but like, yeah, so it's like, okay, so he had to go through the whole rigmarole of the trial, which, I mean, it's going to cost him money. It's going to cost him, a little bit,
He's lost his
but
house and $3 million. That's what
yeah,
he's lost so far.
yeah. So I mean,
And that's the thing too, is like you said, it's he technically, and I want to make that clear, he technically did quote unquote lie uh, to Muir's team, but it was a small thing, something you should only fine somebody for, really. But they drained the guy of all his money. He lost his house, and he is probably in debt and was facing 3 freaking years in prison over like a petty small crime. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It was a complete
It was a
miscarriage.
fishing. It was a fishing expedition.
Yeah.
They're casting out their lines, seeing what they can catch, and they found them on one small thing.
Yep. It's total bullshit. Total bullshit. And Trump did the right thing, and I'm glad he did. And well, I saw there was a, if you go to Parler, we're gonna be talking a lot about Parler now, because a lot of conservatives are on there now, which I think is a little weird how everybody's kind of on Parler instantly, but that's a whole separate rabbit hole. But it is good. It is a place for people like him to have a voice, and he posted a video thanking the president, and there was a video Milo posted on Parler of um, of the moment he got the phone call and was told by the president, "Hey, you're a free fucking man." But of course, Mitt Romney doesn't like this. The only Republican is Mitt Romney that doesn't like this. But Mitt Romney, as we know, is a loser and a total cuck and a fake Republican. Everybody hates him.
You know what? Someone should convince Mitt Romney to go and run as an independent or something, just so that like he can free up a space for an actual politician who cares about their constituents in the country.
Yeah.
Run as
Why?
a libertarian. Yeah, they're nutty like him.
Oh, speaking of libertarians, the Libertarian Party is now pro Black Lives Matter. Joe Jurgensen, Jurgensen, or her, I can't stand her name. She sends out a tweet where she is praising Black Lives Matter.
When?
This was not too long ago. I think it was like a few days ago. I'm gonna pull it
I'm
up
gonna
right
find
now.
it.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like she, didn't you have it up, Alex, or you were reading a second ago?
No, I think you're the one who talked about the Joe.
no,
Joe Jurgensen.
Joe Jorgensen is the tweet was It is not enough to be passively not racist. We must be anti-racist, which goes completely against, like
Joe
the
said that?
libertarian philosophy. Yeah, no, Joe Jorgensen said that in a tweet. Said it's not
Okay,
enough to
since we
be.
get retweeted recently, like a lot. Let me see what's going on. Got you guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't even.
and
I found it.
she also said Black Lives Matter means standing in solidarity with a mourning black community as we fight together to end qualified immunity, police brutality, sentencing disparities, and the war on drugs, not support of any organization by that name.
I mean, why do they like this person? These people.
She is Carol Baskin, the
Hey,
candidate.
by the way, I just put a tweet up
So
putting
she
those
murdered
two
her
pictures
husband?
together. I put up a tweet that put those two pictures together. I gotta say,
It's
you look
uncanny.
up on, yeah, I would look it up. I would
Well,
look
we'll
it up.
pull
if
it
I
up
were
right
you.
now. Ooh,
Yeah.
one new tweet in the past hour. I wonder what the. Oh my god.
See,
What happened?
Look.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Go look on
I'll
my
post
Twitter.
this in the chat. Oh my god. That's actually terrifying. Look, they have the crazy eyes too. Like,
Yeah.
ugh. I'm
Yeah, at
coming
least
for your
Carol Baskin
husband.
has some name recognition. Like, see, that's why I'm pretty sure if Carol ran as Green or whatever, because that's probably what she runs, Green Party, if not just a straight Democrat, like she'd at least get like probably double the amount of people that Joe Jurgensen would.
God, I've
And at
seen.
least she was like hot at one point in her life too.
She was decent, yeah. And what I don't get is, and maybe this is just anecdotal evidence, but the Jurgensen supporters are these libertarian people that voted for Trump, or at least were kind of cool with him, and then when he banned bump stocks, they like flipped the fuck out. These people stand for nothing, absolutely nothing.
Well, their whole idea, like I think their whole the isn't the one of their main ideas to not stand for anything that infringes on the rights of others.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
the
exactly
NAP.
these last tweets are doing exactly that. Like, so this tells me that she's not even a real libertarian.
Who is?
I
Dude,
mean,
look at her picture. That looks like she's like forced to like try to smile. It doesn't look legitimate. Like looks like she's like a human trafficking victim. Like looking at a camera, like look at that shit.
Well, that would be
that's
the
not-
libertarian way, you know? Hey, human trafficking isn't violating the NAP, it's the free markets. Am I right, guys?
Well, technically, the people aren't there of their free will, but they'd be fine with prostitution.
Is that how every libertarian starts a sentence too? Well, technically. Yeah.
That's their whole philosophy. It's just a bunch of technicalities. Sounds like some lawyer bullshit.
Oh my god. How many followers does she have? 82,000. Okay, if she can get 82,000, we can get 82,000.
yeah.
Oh, you need to go and run as a libertarian.
Maybe I should. You know what?
No,
F the
Well, I mean-
optics.
well, no, like I'm sure that they're probably not actively. Twitter's not actively fucking over libertarians like they are conservatives. Like I think, like legitimately, well, I mean, that's not
They're
true.
not.
Isn't
They're not.
Milo a libertarian? Apparently.
No.
They're not,
No.
because I have a bunch of libertarian Mama Joe trolls and bots all over my page. Now I added her to my poll, and then the bots came, and at first they were being cool, but now they're really annoying.
Well, you know what you should do is like make a meme, is like say no to Joe and have like one picture like Joe Biden, one with like Joe Jurgensen.
Oh,
I
that is a good
did
idea.
I made a hashtag already. Says I said no to Joe and say no to Joe Biden. I already made a hashtag for that.
Yo, I'll make that meme. I will hand deliver it with
And I'll
gift
tag you.
wrapping and everything.
Yes, and I will tag you in it. Send it to me.
Does she have a husband?
I'm gonna
Wonder-
guess no, and I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm just saying I don't. Well, let's see.
She looks like a crazy cat lady.
She does.
Like
Well,
one of
they-
those, yeah.
No,
Maybe
she's
she has
married and has
tigers.
2 grown daughters and a grandson.
Oh.
What did her husband do? I'm interested in like her background because I'm pretty sure like there's gotta be some crazy like
Are you-
Tiger King level shit with her.
You want the lore?
Yeah, it's gonna find out this deep work. So I doubt many people actually looked into her because she's a nothing.
Yeah. How did she even get the nomination? Was she like
Well,
the
she
most
probably-
normal?
No,
She didn't wear
because
a shoe in
Justin
her head.
Amash, dropped out like a bitch, and then so of course, like the only one. So it was either her or the dude with the boot on his head, Vermin Supreme, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
I'd
those
say
were your
Vermin
options.
Supreme has more credibility than she does.
I mean, to be fair, you're probably right.
You know I'm right on that one.
We should like AstroTurf like a you know how they had with the Bernie Sanders campaign where they like stopped voting because their candidate didn't get in. Do that for like Vermin Supreme.
Yes.
I'm gonna go like cancel Joe.
Wait, what if we got her on the show?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to go on this show after this shit.
Hey, we can hide this video, private it for like a few weeks, you know? Just be like, hey, we had some
That's
libertarians
like,
on.
oh, this crazy cat lady's a total piece of shit. By the way, would you like to come on our show next week?
Hey,
Well,
you
yeah,
don't,
if you
they
wanna
don't need to
create-
know that. You just hide it and, for the time being, just put it on the top shelf where it can't be seen or reached. And then, whoops, the book falls out and now it's on the floor and we can all see it once we're all done.
Yeah, we already had Cosmic Rebecca on here. I think we have enough crazy cat lady on the show.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I will
I
concede
already
that.
called Joe out on Twitter. If she finds out I'm on this video, she's not going to watch you guys. Already called her out just now.
Oh. Well, thanks for ruining our future prosperous interview opportunities with a presidential candidate.
Yeah,
Well, I wouldn't
I'm
really.
sorry, you
I mean,
guys.
calling her a presidential candidate, that's a fucking stretch. I mean,
Well, she is one, isn't she?
I mean,
I heard
Yeah, like,
I heard that she didn't
technically.
raise $500,000 yet. She doesn't have $1 million raised.
Really? That is.
Mhm.
That's devastating. What a shame.
well, I mean, look, dude, libertarians are. Well, they're not about spending money anyway. I mean, look,
Yeah.
so they fit right in.
Did you know Ayn Rand was on welfare at the end of her life?
That's ironic. She was an interesting person.
Yeah.
I didn't actually read that book of hers that was like bigger than the Bible and did stuff and could probably stop like a bullet, but you know.
You mean Atlas Shrugged?
Yeah, it's so like long and like it was kind of interesting in some parts, but it's just too damn long. I'm not gonna read like a 500 I think it was like 1,000 pages or some crazy shit like that, and it was like huge print too.
Yeah,
Like
it was
huge pages with like small print.
it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. All right. Oh, jeez. You got.
Oh, we're on page 5008 already. Wow.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it's like I heard it's actually a pretty good book, but like I heard she was like doing some really weird stuff with her life.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Hey,
Like-
if you're having a toilet paper shortage, that book is for you.
No, that's what the New York Times is for.
I mean, that too. I mean,
Well, I heard like one of her books was actually like decent for like architects or something.
Oh, really? My dad should read them.
I don't know if it was Atlas Shrugged, but there was another one. Like I know like Stefan Molyneux used to talk about her all the time.
Oh, he would.
Mhm.
Good old Stefan. Oh, have you seen the VP candidate?
Oh god, is it like someone else who like shoves like boots up his ass or something?
Well, his name is Jeremy Spike Cohen. I can't read this like his bio with a straight face because first of all, his picture looks like it was taken at some party and then they photoshopped out the background. He's unshaven, and it says he promotes a vision. He's a visionary of common sense libertarian capital L solutions that will make us all more free, safe, and prosperous. Everything with libertarians is always common sense. Oh, it's so obvious. Why don't we just do this? It's so easy. It's so obvious. He started a web design company in 1999. He retired from that 3 years ago to promote libertarian ideas full time. In other words, he quit his job and because he probably sucked at it. His great aim is to make people more familiar with voluntary solutions and property rights. That is the most boring shit I've ever heard. Can you imagine your platform is to make people more familiar with voluntary solutions? I don't even know what the fuck that really means. And property rights. Oh my god, that's what I need right now, guys, is some property rights.
Well, speaking of property rights, did Joe or any of the libertarians really speak out about the, what was it, like the Vice City couple over there, the two lawyers with the guns?
Oh yeah, well, we gotta talk about that actually. Something big happened with that, with our resident Miami Vice Scarface couple. They had a warrant put out on them, and police searched their freaking place and seized guns. Let's see. Let me look at let's look at Reuters. Not gonna use fake news. NBC.
Well, did Joe Jorgensen tweet about that? Because that seems like something that libertarians, probably should be defending, because they did defend their property from protesters that broke down a gate.
Well, libertarians should be like wetting themselves at the sight of these couple. And I'll admit, I wet myself at the sight of these couple, and it's not because of any libertarian shit. It's because it was just the most badass thing to come out of this. Like, that is America 2020 in a nutshell. I'm looking on her Twitter, and I just see pro-Black Lives Matter stuff, some stupid tweet that says get ready to get on the phones and keyboards to knock on doors wherever and wherever you can to let people know that there's a better option.
Yeah, I don't see it. Like, yeah, she should be defending that. Like, what's her? Does she even have a platform if she's not defending people defending their own rights, or is she afraid of the optics? Like, since when have libertarians been afraid of optics? One, but like
their conventions sure haven't been afraid of optics.
Joe Jorgensen had a interview on C-SPAN. Okay.
Wow.
Real stuff going on, right?
That's legit.
Because look, when you've gone to C-SPAN, you've made it. Like you're in the big time.
Yeah, it's Big Boy Lullaby channel.
Or not.
I think she's gonna need a bigger boat. It's too much attention, too much fame. I'm having trouble logging into the Versa Parlor, which is weird. But she retweeted this one thing, and this is like something LI would get triggered over, and rightfully so. This guy's only doing one thing right, but this is tabling for Joe Jorgensen. And look at this shit. He's got fucking like all kinds of shit on the table. Clipboards like everywhere. And he has this like crappy handwritten sign. Help candidates get on the ballot. You have the right to have a choice. What the fuck does that even mean? And he's like standing behind it. And there's some like, I don't even know what he's in front of some like food store. Like it's just like, he's not even wearing a tie. Maybe you don't need to, but whatever. That table looks terrible. Let's see. I'm trying to find if she said anything about. No, I don't think she said anything about that couple.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah. What's going on?
How's it going, Sammy?
Not too much. For the folks who may be looking for this stream on my channel, I apologize, but YouTube has decided to block Streamlabs from accessing my Google account all of a sudden.
What?
I've been trying to troubleshoot this for the last 20 minutes or so. Was hoping to get on when the stream first started, but it's not happening. So yeah, I'll do a manual podcast tomorrow for you folks, but I'm completely at Versa's disposal. So.
Oh, you're ours now, Sam.
Anyway.
Yeah, dude, you've been getting hit really hard with all this censorship. Like, that's crazy.
They've been taking your ass out big time.
Hey, you too,
Yeah,
Alex.
well,
your Facebook is fucked.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on a response for that. I mean, I did kind of fuck up with that one. Should have used my real name, but like, still.
Oh, is that what they? Oh, that does seem like what they're getting you on, but I don't think they should delete your account for that because your account feels like it's been suspended.
Well, it says we're like when I look on there, it just says, we have to verify blah 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 your identity, and I get why they have to do it, but like, because I did use a pseudonym, which I used for years, I never thought would be a problem, but as soon as you react to a Breitbart article, I guess,
Fucking
they,
Nickelodeon came after your ass.
yeah, they didn't like me reacting to Breitbart, so that
You
put me on the radar.
Probably thought you were an
You-
alt-right troll.
YouTube took down Apex Gamma's YouTube on
Yeah.
the 4th of July.
Jesus.
So
See, and okay, want to talk? That's actually. I'm glad you brought up the data that too, because Laura Loomer talked about this, which is that Twitter specifically does this. Now it looks like YouTube. They will target people on holidays. I think Laura Loomer got banned from Twitter on Thanksgiving. I know some other people got banned on holidays. Now Apex has, but Sam, you've been getting hit really freaking hard recently. Like that, we used to see big tech censorship at the celebrity like AAA level. Now we're seeing it at our level. It's trickling down. Trickle down censorship is happening.
well, like I say this partially to be funny, but like now they're going after the E-list celebrities, which is like us, or at least I mean, like I would consider us to kind of be like E-list celebrities or E-list influencers. I don't know, and it's even like coming down to us. I'm surprised that DONI here hasn't gotten hit as hard yet. So
That's God. That's all God. Period.
Has to be
Yeah.
because
You should apologize for jinxing Donnie.
She don't need that.
No,
I
because
don't
I,
need
think, I honestly think the only reason why my page grew the way it did and why it's still up is because of God. So
I have to say though, I would, if I were you, I would not only be looking at alternatives, but collecting get your followers on an email list, because you're gonna get whacked at some point. And that's why I keep telling people is that, because I was trying to help this one guy that I met recently grow his Instagram page, and he's up to like 2,000 followers. So he's doing pretty good. But I told him, look, just face it, you are a conservative on social media. You're going to get banned. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you need to prepare for that by collecting things that they can't take from you. And the only things they can't take, for the most part, for now, are phone numbers and emails. And just collect them, get everybody on an email list, and on a spreadsheet, just put all these emails, and you can still give people your content.
Yep. Well, there are a couple of alternative platforms out there that I've been kind of investing, not investing in, but like getting on to. So as well.
I like how you said whacked like it was Italian. Hey, you hear? Hey, what's going on? Hey, you hear Donnie got whacked? Huh?
That's
Forget
what it
about
feels
it.
like.
Yeah.
It
well,
feels
here's
like
the
a
other thing
Valentine's
too.
Day massacre.
I suggest also this: anything where people say they want you to like make a show, anything where people want you to do something for them, make swag, anything. If there's someone with a blue check mark who follows you, someone with a big platform follows you, anything they do, retweet you, like you, anything, screen record all of it. So if you ever have to go to court, you have all this proof that your page was prospering and Twitter decided to take you out. So if you don't do those things, you won't have the evidence. I've been doing it before I realized I needed to do that, but I'm definitely consistently doing it even more now than I probably should, so I can have all of that information. Because I will sue Twitter if they do that to me. So I have all the evidence.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah, it is. It's good to prepare. Like, I mean, Like these people, you have to vote for Trump. You have to make sure that this guy gets reelected, because like all really, I mean, I know Donald Trump says in his rallies and stuff that if Joe Biden comes in, they're going to take away everything, but it's so fucking true, right? It's so fucking true. The taxes are going to be gone. Taxes are going to be going up. All your rights are going to be taken. All that bullshit that China is going to be doing is going to be brushed under the rug, and you know damn well Joe Biden's going to brush it under the rug because he's cozied up to fuck with China. So,
Right.
like, this election really fucking matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, even some of the LOL libertarians are finally coming around and being like, holy shit, yeah, you guys are right about all this censorship and stuff. Maybe we actually should look at regulating.
Wait,
big tech.
which I'm curious. Where are you seeing that? Because I'm not seeing any of them say that.
Okay, well, like no big libertarians, but like I know this one guy named Ray Eaton, and he hosts the Eye on the Empire. And I'm sorry because I know that his account is I know that his Twitter is going to get nuked as I say this, but I don't care. I like him, and he's one of the few like rational libertarians out there. There's this guy I follow named Ray, and he hosts like Eye on the Empire, and I mean, like, he says he's libertarian, but he's really rational about like the way he goes about it. He's not like one of these like anarcho-capital, like weirdos or whatever. And he acknowledges that he doesn't like the idea of like regulating big tech. He acknowledges that they're just as bad as like big government, and like that's where libertarians need to be at this point, basically, so, I mean, the one thing I will say is like, I think me being banned off Discord was like a big wake up call to people in our community because, people were like, "Well, you got banned off Discord. You're a really nice guy," and they're claiming that you harassed like someone. Like, what? That's ridiculous. So, but I mean, it's just like, it shouldn't have had to go that far though, for like people to realize how bad this really was. So
So and this is like one of those things I would have to ask a libertarian, although I really don't want to talk to a libertarian. Like,
I actually don't blame you.
Like,
I've done that enough in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one time too many. But
I will also say I have been getting a couple cons like, are you and Donnie a thing? So
What?
Who said me and
No.
Donnie a thing?
So
what?
Who said that?
some people in my YouTube comments, Donnie, after our podcast together. So
Oh shit! There we go. No.
It's funny you say that. So here's the thing. When I was actually talking to my new girlfriend today on the phone, the one I've been sharing on Twitter from my group, and I told her, I think honestly that I won't be able to date anybody until Trump's reelected. To be honest, like that's what I care about the most right now. And so, like, if we did start dating, it'd be after November 3rd.
I've said this, and I think I said it on
calendars, goddammit.
I think I said on Twitter too, which is that dating is like totally changed since Trump. I mean, it feels like Trump has changed everything, and things that shouldn't be changed have been changed, and things that should be changed have been changed. I was very open, could date anyone pre-2016, like, oh yeah, but Democrats, Republicans, doesn't matter. Love is love.
Except for it didn't happen.
Yeah. Many other things didn't happen, sir. And I quickly realized when you're on campus and you're wearing a MAGA hat, or if you're even just talking about Trump, like, hey, maybe I think tax cuts are a decent idea and we kind of all like tax cuts. And you get these people that scream Nazi, Hitler, scum, trash in your face. And even the people that are nicer about it, you know, the ones that aren't screaming that, they will distance you. They will give you a dirty look. And it's like, I can't date one. Period. It's just not going to happen. Like, you cannot date a Democrat if you're a Republican that likes Trump.
Well,
you can only date conservatives. I hate to say it.
Ultimately, it's about what you want as a person, okay? If you're looking for, if you're looking for a cheap, easy lay and you have no respect for yourself, then go for a liberal girl.
Phil, what are you talking about?
Right? I mean, but I'm saying, different people have different desires and different goals for what they want in a particular interaction with a woman, right?
Well,
so some people want marriage, some people just want a long-term relationship, and some people just want to bone and leave, right? So,
well, that's the thing. Yeah,
if the bone and leave thing is you,
Then
the only
go to
people
liberals.
the only people that have that have such little respect like that would be, liberals, right? So, and I'm talking leftists too, like feminist leftists too.
Let's be fair. Let's not say all of them. Let's be fair, but a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Well, here's the thing. If you are, like, when I say dating, I imply you're trying to make something last long term. If you're doing a hit and run, whatever you want to call it, that's not, hey, if you're not looking for that, if you're just going to leave, like, I mean, those type, if guys that do that aren't really looking for anything but one thing.
You're talking about a split and split? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I still think this is so funny y'all bringing this up tonight. I hope my friend's listening, because
well, if you're listening, we're giving stellar dating advice here on Real News. But it's just,
it's funny. I actually said I wanted to talk about this segment that we did in this before, and then when I were talking about it, it's awesome. I think people really care about this. Because, like, me personally, I will not date someone if they're not conservative, and I won't date anyone if they don't like Trump. And if, like, in the future, once Trump era is over, and they hated Trump before, I can't do it.
Well, here's the thing. I come into this with the open mindset, but it's the other party that isn't, and therefore I have to say, well, I can't date these people now because they can't date me. Like, that's what happens, unfortunately.
It's
hey, Trump Singles exists, right? You know the site, right? TrumpSingles.com.
Wait, that's a thing?
Wait,
yeah,
I've never heard of that.
It sounds like a scam.
Yeah,
it probably is.
Making dating great again. That's it.
Yes. Now, why didn't anybody tell me about this like 4 years ago?
I know,
I don't think
right?
it existed 4 years ago.
But in all honesty, I mean, that's kind of like the other thing too. Is like, I don't want to say I'm high profile, like, Rush or Gavin McGinnis or anyone like that. But like, I think I'm high profile enough to where, like, if you Google my name or search my name, you'll find my social media and you'll find out that I'm political pretty quickly. And so that always presents the thing of, like, like, I try and, like, one of Gavin McGinnis's rules is to not just bring up politics when you're dating, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a political activist, like you and I are, Sean, or any of us in this call, and I mean, that's kind of hard to do, and if you have your name out there. So, that's another thing.
Well, the thing is, like, I get where Gavin's coming from, and he's coming more from the angle of, like, and this is what he literally said, CPAC. He's like, shut up, don't talk about foreign policy, get laid. Now, I get his point, and he's right, but because he thinks, like, men are worrying about the wrong things at the wrong time. But when you start talking to somebody, you start getting into it, it's gonna freaking come up. You know?
But you can't say that to a bunch of incels that have no chance of getting laid. I mean, that's not cool. Okay, you're like, you need to get laid. Like, some of these people can't. Like, these are
Groypers.
some pen toting incels.
No e-girls.
It's never gonna happen.
But
I'm so sad right now.
By the way, if anyone calls Donnie an e-girl, I will fucking drop kick their ass.
Dude, I
You call
would
me
pay
a
to
what?
see
A
that shit.
Negro?
Yeah, look, Sam's on a wheelchair. I would pay to see that shit too. Okay.
Dude, that
I would
wheelchair
pay
is
to
a
see
chair
him-
to fire.
I would pay to see him drop kick somebody from his wheelchair. That would be fucking epic.
I would make it fucking happen too.
He would go Super Saiyan and fucking drop kick somebody right off a wheel. I would pay to see it.
Super Saiyan Blue.
I was gonna say, Sam, did you actually realize, like, when you were saying you drop kick somebody, did you did you realize when you were saying that the implications?
I realized. I'm like, okay, that's physically not possible. So
See, but you should be hiding your
You
power
just gonna
level.
drop your foot on them?
I know, right? That's like Yoda, right? That's like Yoda. He's like on a cane, but then when it's time to fight,
Yeah.
he's like a total badass.
there was a moment the other day. I think I might have sent this clip to you, but there was one episode of the Whitfield Report where where like when Tucker Carlson was getting canceled, I let people are gonna now find this now. I know that will. There's a part where I just lost it and I screamed like an Alex Jones will scream, and people were like, "Wow, I've never seen you lose your temper before." That's like I lost it. So it was something about like, you know, Keith Allison or someone wanted to get rid of all cops because they thought that they like, you know, were one of these BLM activists basically thinks that we should get rid of cops because somehow cops make domestic violence calls worse or something like that. So
But aren't they replacing them with cops? Their own version of cops?
yeah, well these BLM activists want to replace cops with social workers when it comes to domestic violence calls, unarmed social workers, and yeah, I just about lost my shit there. So
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's I forget what I was. It's just all this crap about, like, you know, cops is getting ridiculous to the point where now they're calling for Ford to stop making cop cars.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
That's insane.
to be fair,
How else
To
are
be
they gonna make
fair,
that money?
right? To be fair, Fords are shitty cars.
Yeah,
So,
fix
I
or
mean,
repair daily.
The police do deserve better vehicles.
Oh, so we're gonna.
Yeah.
I support Black Lives Matter on this one. Ford should never make cop cars again. They should be all Teslas. Make them all Teslas.
Didn't they try that and they end up running out of batteries like halfway through a high speed
they'd run
chase?
out of. They go on a high speed chase and fucking run out of life and, like, midway into the car chase.
No, use all Cybertrucks, you know, or
It happened. It happened once in like California.
I'm gonna look up these Tesla cop cars, see if they were actually a thing. Oh yeah, we got some here, some boys in Tesla Model 3 police cars pay for themselves faster than expected, says police chief. There you go.
Now see, if I were Elon and I were making Tesla cop cars, I would 007 that shit and like put like in rocket launchers and machine
Put
guns.
the flamethrowers on there from the Boring Company.
Yeah, yeah, just like, you know, stuff like that. So I mean, Elon Musk is essentially like real life Q. So
Kind of is. He's like freaking Tony Stark plus Q. And actually, what you were saying, Alex, was fake news. The New York Times says a police Tesla nearly ran out of power during a chase. It didn't run out. And it wasn't the car's fault. It says, I am down to 6 miles of battery on the Tesla, so I may lose him in a second, they said. But it says, yeah, the headline in the New York Post was Cops Tesla runs out of battery during a high-speed chase. Now, it wasn't true. He still had 6 miles left. And at no
Okay,
time
well-
did the Tesla end up having to leave the pursuit. It didn't die on the freeway, and it really didn't impact this pursuit in any way, according to a spokesman for the police department. It's the fastest car we have in our fleet, and it handles really well in pursuits. There you fucking go.
We'll see.
Telling you, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I'm
the
all
thing
for-
is it's not like you can go put gas in there and get done in like 5 minutes. You have to go to put in the charger. Probably be taking an hour at least.
See, but if you have the Cybertruck, you know, you can be driving the Cybertruck, and if the Cybertruck goes, you have the fucking, like, ATV in the back. You just pop that out, keep going.
I don't think there's. I don't know about that. Is that even road legal?
Flamethrower 82 said Ford deserves to go down if they sell out. Sad thing is, Ford was the first car ever made in the world. No, they were not the first car made in the world. Mercedes was. Ford was the first, like, mass-produced production car, you could say, but it was not the first car ever.
The first people's car. First Volkswagen.
Yes.
Well,
Isn't it
everyone knows what my favorite car is, but it's so expensive that I'll never drive it. So
hey, don't say never, okay? With all that high-speed YouTube money, you might be getting it in no time.
yeah, I wish. So because YouTube is paying me enough that where I can afford an Aston Martin.
That's
So
right.
Oh, do
Hey.
you want the DB5?
yes, sir.
Hmm.
So I mean I am basically the American James Bond. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
there you go.
That's right.
Does your
Completely.
wheelchair have, like, fucking, like, rockets that come out the side?
Not yet, but I have some like crazy military buddies. So like, dude, we can totally do that for
Mm.
you.
Isn't there a superhero in a wheelchair? Yeah, the guy X-Men.
Listen, yeah, the old dude who's like touching the X-Men and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Professor
yeah.
Xavier.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Professor X.
There you go.
See, look at there. Look at him, very powerful.
See, look, just shave your head. You're good.
Do you know what happened to
They'll-
him at the
they'll
end of
think he's like
Logan?
a skinhead.
Yeah, put a tiki torch on that wheelchair and you go unite the right.
You're
Oh,
forgetting
God.
putting on a polo shirt.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
that
polo
what they
shirt and
did too?
khakis. Look like a prep
Worst.
boy.
That's like
Yeah,
the
well-
worst protest in history.
I mean,
I don't
mean,
know.
I'm
Some of these
already
Black
wor-
Lives Matter ones are taking it for a run for the money.
I mean, yes, run for their money, yes, but that was the Jews will not replace us was so cringe. It was so cringe. Like just
Yeah, I-
cringe to look at. Like you would think like protests involve some sort of like people that are fighting some sort of oppression of some kind. Like you can't fight oppression in fucking a polo shirt. That is the goofiest shit I've ever. No.
I will say that is a interesting head-to-head matchup there. Which is the worst protest, Charlottesville or Black Lives Matter? Because look, think about it. Charlottesville. Yes, optics disaster in many ways. Klan people, Nazi flags, Jews will not replace us. Probably shouldn't be saying that on the stream because we're gonna get fucking pulled. They killed a person with a Challenger. But then Black Lives Matter, abolish police, pigs in a blanket, burn them like bacon. Antifa with the Antifa flags and the communist flags. And
But that Chaz.
the Chaz. Yeah, they take over a part of a city, and people got murdered and raped, and people been. Hey, they have a higher body count than
I-
Charlottesville.
I mean, for me, it's not much of a. For me, the argument isn't so much that like which one is worse, because that's what everyone is saying. It's like no, they're both equally shitty, and I hate them both.
Yeah.
But because people are like, because one thing I get a lot is I don't support Black Lives Matter, and they're like, oh, you're one of those like alt right like. And I'm like, no. Have you heard my podcast? I go off more on the gripers and the alt right than I do the left these days, actually. But it's it's not one or the other. It's like I can hate both and like support like neither.
You know what's
So-
crazy? What?
Would you say the difference between Black Lives Matter and the Unite the Right would be the same thing as the difference between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany?
Yeah,
They're
Yes.
basically that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's basically and I mean that's actually what I compared it to exactly. It's like because like one time I was arguing with like a liberal family member, and they were like, "Oh well, the alt right is a bunch of neo Nazis. Like that's not cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It's not cool at all. But neither is Antifa, which is basically like radical communist. Like neither is good. So
Yeah. Well,
Any
I
communist
would.
is a radical communist.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's crazy too is when you Google Charlottesville, just Charlottesville, nothing else. Not Charlottesville riots, not Charlottesville Nazis, nothing. Just the word Charlottesville, and you click images on Google, every single freaking image on the first page is pictures from that fucking protest. Every
I
single
know
one.
it's horrible, and it's like one time I referenced Charlottesville too on my show, like the city, because I was going through there, and someone was like, "Oh my God, no! I hope you're not going to like an alt right rally or something." And I'm like, "No, I'm." It's like no, I'm like Charlottesville is the name of like an actual city, so and I mean now I've started to do, and I'm serious about this actually, is like anytime someone wants to call me like a racist or something now, like within the past month or so, I send them the podcast I did with DONI. Actually, it's like I have black friends, and they're like it shouldn't have to, but it's gotten to that point now where it's like.
Well, you know they're going to
Honestly,
bring up
I-
that argument about like,
Yeah.
oh, you have one black friend.
Yeah, that
Right, and
doesn't make you
honestly,
not racist or a thing.
so honestly, when people say things like that and they call you racist, I'm honestly at the point now where I'm like, honestly, I'm to the point now where people say that I'm assuming you're racist because people are making up things in their own head about what's racist. And like just like saying when Trump was talking about the criminals at the border, and then the news decided to label him being racist. The news actually was racist when they said that because Trump didn't say Mexicans. You guys said Mexicans. That was actually racist.
Yeah.
No, you should say you should say to them though, hey, if they call you a racist, well, how dare you? You're a fucking ableist. What do you think of that shit?
I actually have done that recently, and I've gotten a few like dropped, mouths or something like.
You know, I'm
I-
actually surprised with all the Black Lives Matter shit, tearing down statues. I'm actually surprised we haven't had another Charlottesville. You know, because people look, let's be honest. Look, there are a lot of amazing people in this country, but regardless, these Black Lives Matter protests and riots have made people a tiny bit more racist. Like, I've seen it. I've heard stories of people saying shit they would never say before. I've seen people say shit they would never say before. and it's really tragic because that's ultimately what
It
this
is sad
division has
because it's
brought.
working. What the left is trying to do is working. That is very sad that if people are doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's terrible, and that's what's sickening about this monster they've created. And the thing is, I'm surprised that because I bet, look, I've seen people go farther right, and we've talked about this last time, but I'm surprised with all these statues tearing down because that's what Unite the Right was actually supposedly like it kind of hijacked this rally initially that was there of normal citizens to protest removal of the Robert E. Lee statue. And then all these Nazis and racists and awful people came and hijacked it. And I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. I'm actually shocked. And it's probably because everything's so fractured right now. You know, you have the Groypers, the alt-right, the white nationalists, the white supremacists, like all these groups. And then you have the Trump supporters, and then you have the far right, and the nationalist right, and the moderate right, and the cucked right, and the never Trumpers. Like, there's all these fractions in this sphere, good, bad, and ugly. And I think with Charlottesville, they had a weird moment of unity among these radical ends of it.
Well, I think people saw Charlottesville and they don't want to do that again. That's why you don't see it happen.
I guess, but I would think people are so pissed off and they're so radical now that they would say, fuck the optics.
Here's my question. No, here's my honest question. So if some of these people that you know are getting labeled as racist and they're not racist, what's to stop them from saying, well, shit, if I'm already getting called a racist and I haven't done some racist shit, why I might as well get my money's worth, right?
Yeah.
That happens.
Well, Phil, that's exactly what happened with Owen Benjamin. I mean, I hate to bring him up again, but that's exactly what happened with him. Like, when I first met him, he was normal, and people finally called him like racist enough where he was like, you know what, fuck this, like, yeah, I am, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I'm afraid is gonna happen. Like, again, when you have these radical groups, you create on one side, you create another radical reaction on the other, and I am genuinely shocked because I think the thing the right sucks at, and even the radical parts of this suck at, is organization. And when you have really good organization, you get action. I mean, say what you will about the left, but they have a really, really good organization aspect. I mean, look, a shooting happens at a school. You have all these kids coming out promoting gun control. You have all these t-shirts made and this hashtag going. When does that ever happen on the right? Never. It just doesn't happen. We suck at organizing.
Well, I mean, outside of Trump, like nothing like that would fucking exist with the GOP. I'm like, look at the Penn State tweet, for example.
Yeah,
right?
We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, and like and we've said it before. The Penn State GOP, that is like a microcosm of the GOP as a whole, right? Like, we need to develop a fucking spine, and by we I mean like the GOP. They need to develop a spine with a fucking quickness, because these people are the other side is basically eating their lunch and leaving. Like, I mean, you got to come up with something, because if you don't stand up for yourself, you're going to embolden the other side to keep doing what they're doing.
Well, look at what they're doing to Goya. This is a Hispanic-owned business, a grocery store. And they say some nice things about Trump, mildly nice, and they're calling for boycotts and trying to ruin this guy's business. They act on this shit so quickly.
You know how fast I just went to a supermarket today. The Goya section in the supermarkets are getting bare. Like, seriously. Like, apparently they're like, oh, there's people trying to ban Goya. It's time to fucking stock up.
Well, you know what's funny is, Goya has more backbone than like 99% of U.S. companies and actually standing up to.
Oh, what did they
And I
do
cook,
by
and
standing
I
up?
cook, and I
Well,
cook
like,
too. So I need Goya.
well,
I need some
not
Goya
like
products,
actually
so.
supporting Trump. You know, that's more than most of these companies are just like tweeting Black Lives Matter and all that junk. And are like trying to find ways to like condemn Trump and Trump supporters. At least they're, sticking to their guns.
That's
Hey,
true.
so someone brought up something about the GOP, and y'all hear about in Houston the mayor said that they couldn't do their convention there, and they would lose $500,000 to try not to refund it, and also that Alan West is running for what is it called, state senate chair or something like that. Have y'all heard about that?
Mm-mm.
Well, I did hear
Yeah,
about I did hear about the GOP
Houston's
convention thing.
Houston's full of corrupt Democrats.
What the fuck, Houston?
It's so messed up. That is interfering in our elections. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And you're not gonna give them the 500,000 back? That's taxpayers' money. They donate the money. And
Yeah.
then and if Alan West is running, I think that's the big thing. That's the threat.
Yeah. They need to fix. They need to fix whatever the hell is wrong with. Because Houston, I used to be. Houston used to be an awesome city. Like, I used to like going to Houston, but I don't know. It's starting to get real Democrat.
It's been like that for a while. I don't like
Yeah.
going there.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, like, I haven't. Well, I mean, I haven't been there in about 6 years now.
I had
It
people
used to
reach
be
out to me
okay.
from there. I had people reach out to me from there for jobs that paid really well, but I refuse to live there. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, these Dems suck.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
they
Ruin
this is where,
everything.
like, this is where again I'm getting, conservatives. I, I don't know what it is about them, but they talk a big game and little action. Like, okay, you're mad that Goy is being boycotted and people are attacking it. Well, buy it. Support them.
Mm-hmm.
Stop supporting these lefty companies. And I understand in some cases you don't have a choice. Like with tech is a good example of that. Gotta use
Yeah.
Twitter. Gotta use Google. Well, I mean Google products, not Google search. But, those things, unfortunately, are where you run into that issue. And yes, there's Parler, but it's, I've already explained why that's a doomed idea. But stuff like
It's not.
this, you gotta support it or else they win. When Dick's Sporting Good bans guns, don't fucking shop at Dick's. When ESPN goes woke,
Yeah.
don't watch ESPN. Watch I'm already forgetting the name, but the one Phil you mentioned last time, it's real good.
Outkick.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Go go on their YouTube channel. Clay Travis is really good, and um Whitlark is on there. The one of the conservative sports reporters. He was on, like, yeah. Look, by the way, Speak for Yourself, fantastic sports commentary show. Like, I've growingly liked that show. Like, that's the one that Marcellus Wiley is on.
Yeah.
It's good.
And he
It's
liked
like,
your tweet.
yeah, he did too. He's a good guy. He's like there because it's like, it's not like political. It's not really political. But it's like really, they talk about sports and then they talk about it like in an intelligent way, and then they try to, they try to talk about it in a way that relates to you, like, and so I like that, because I've stopped watching ESPN because they're just blatantly overly political.
The only guy I like on ESPN, and I haven't watched ESPN in like years and years, so I didn't even know he was there anymore. But the one guy I like on ESPN is Dan Patrick.
He's not even on the ESPN anymore. He's doing his own YouTube channel.
Yeah, no.
He first went. Yeah, it's amazing you said that, because you must not have watched ESPN in a long time, because the last couple of years ago, and by a couple years, I mean quite a few years ago, he went to, I want to say he went to Fox Sports or
Yeah,
something like that,
to
and
FSN.
then
Yeah.
to do his own show, like the Dan Patrick Show, and then he's I think he's doing his own YouTube channel now. So yeah, there's a lot of movement for Mr. Dan Patrick.
Well, I know that he got flack because he like guest filled in. A lot of people don't know this, but like he used to guest fill in for Rush Limbaugh every once in a while he was also doing the other show with Keith Olbermann, who I fucking hate.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of like when I actually trolled Keith Olbermann on Twitter?
Oh, really?
Oh, I never told you this story.
No.
No, do share.
Okay, so like back in 2013, I had just moved to Florida, right? And my mom and I were like at like a shopping mall or something, and she went to interview for like a position in one of the stores, like transferring over from Colorado, but like she was like in some sort of management, but she still had to interview, right? So I was at the mall, and like I had about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours to kill. So I had on, so the place had like ESPN2 or whatever, right? And so I was just sitting there, and who do I see but Keith Olbermann is on the TV, and I simply tweet out like something like, "Wow, I had no idea that Keith Olbermann had a show on ESPN2. I thought he, would have taken a break after being fired from MSNBC, right? Like it was a fairly innocuous tweet, and next thing I know, like 2 minutes later, Keith Olbermann himself is like replying to me like I don't like what you're implying, son. I'm a major, talent or something like that. I didn't
Talent
get
of
canceled.
what? Of being an asshole?
I didn't get canceled. ESPN offered me that job, and I'm like, and I replied to him back. I'm like, yeah, but you're on ESPN too. So like you're not even on the main network. You're like you're top two, and he's like, well, I'd like to see you host a big time show, and I'm like, yeah, I do. It's on the internet, grandpa, and it's going to overtake yours here soon. And then and then I get like all these Keith Olbermann. So what's funny is like I'm watching his show, right? And I start to notice that like every time he cuts to break, like I see him like like look down towards his desk, like kind of underneath, and I realized like every time he was cutting to break, he was at replying me when he would cut to commercial break. So it was weird, but I eventually got him to block me because he got so pissed off at
There
me.
you go. That's when you know you've won.
There you go. That's a badge of honor right there.
Well,
yes.
I hate to say this, but I also sound like, how's your friend Dan Patrick doing? At least he gets to interview Sports Illustrated models or something like that. So, but yeah. So yeah, Keith Olbermann is kind of like in my Hall of Fame of liberals I've pissed off. So,
well, ESPN also got like, well, an ESPN reporter also got in some hot water this week too. Adrian Wojciechowski tweeted, I guess So Senator Josh Hawley wrote to ESPN saying, "Okay, well, why aren't you?" Or no, he wrote to the NBA because the NBA was saying that they were going to have some decals or whatever supporting various causes like Black Lives Matter or whatever. So Republican Josh Hawley wrote a letter asking the NBA an explanation as to, well, if you're going to do that, well, why not, Blue Lives Matter or other like other stuff like that, or why don't you support, supporting the police, supporting the troops, whatever. And so Adrian Wojciechowski went on his ESPN email and replied, "Fuck you," to Senator Hawley, right? So Senator Hawley puts it on the Twitter, right? He puts it on his Twitter, and within minutes, ESPN had to put out a statement. Adrian Wojciechowski had to put a statement out, and they were like, "Oh, what I did was they said they're handling the situation internally," when, I mean, really, he should have been fired. But that was one of those people that was in hot water for. Now, of course, he probably only got in trouble for using the ESPN email address for saying "fuck you," not actually for the FU comments. Because ESPN's owned by Disney. Disney's pro-China.
Yep.
They don't like Republicans a whole lot right now, or they haven't really.
Well, speaking of pro-China, very interesting cultural development. And we'll go back to the Penn State tweet in a second, but I just want to mention this real quick, which is that the extremely popular Twitch... wait, no, he's not. Is Ninja on Twitch? I forget where Ninja is. He was working out that deal with like Microsoft for a while for their streaming service, but popular gaming streamer Ninja has deleted his Twitch account and has totally left it. I guess he's still on YouTube. I can't believe I forget where these people are half the time. I'm usually better than that, but
I think he might be going to D Live as well.
That would make the most sense, actually. Yeah, Mixer was the Microsoft thing he was on, and he was on Twitch. Yeah, there were 23 million subscribers on YouTube, and he was on Twitch and Mixer. But yeah, I would suspect going to D Live as well. But he totally left TikTok over privacy concerns. Matt Gaetz has been very vocally bashing TikTok, calling for it to be banned, essentially, or calling for people to leave it and not use it. And I said back in April, TikTok's going to get banned, or it's just gonna, or at least it should be. It is Chinese spyware being used to build their facial recognition technology and their AI and all that shit. It's a national security threat, and even what really sort of woke people up that, oh shit, this thing might get banned soon, was with two major actions, which is that India banned TikTok. So hundreds of million people cannot use this platform now. And Mike Pompeo was on Laura Ingraham a few nights ago and basically kept the door open on banning TikTok and said that Americans shouldn't use it unless they want to, be spied on by China. I think this is going to be huge. Early precursors of it eventually getting either banned in America, or the government or somebody in these big tech companies removing it from their app stores. I don't think big tech's going to do it voluntarily because it's a cash cow, but I think the government's going to pressure them to try and delete it from their app stores. But I think the app Byte, which is the Vine 2.0 created by the Vine creator, is going to be a massive hit now. I think people are going to migrate over there all from TikTok. They're either going to migrate to YouTube or migrate to Byte. Byte is more of the style of medium they're going to use, these short videos. But I think Byte is going to love this. They must be.
That depends. That depends on this election. Because if Biden wins, they'll they'll sweep that shit under the rug.
True.
and TikTok will probably flourish because of it.
Biden's China first.
Like, yeah, he definitely is, and it's no coincidence that TikTok has started hiring political personnel, both Republican and Democrat, for their like lobbying, because TikTok's going to have to start lobbying now, to get back in that, get back in that whole deal, because nobody trusts TikTok now because they've been banned like in a couple of countries. So now it's like, well, and of course Amazon has told their employees to not put TikTok on their phones because it's a security risk. I mean, shit, if it's not good enough for Amazon employees, it's probably not, good enough for you either.
Well, and they quickly retracted that for some reason, which I thought was weird. But they did say that at one point. And I'm like, yeah, you guys know. I mean, they're not stupid. Amazon's a very successful, very smart company, but they know. And it's because it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I downloaded Byte just now because I'd known about it. I think we even talked about it on the show when it was breaking, because it was a big deal that really flew under the radar. But I downloaded it just today, and I saw a bunch of people on there. Like, every post was about TikTok getting banned. Oh, I'm on here now. Oh, we're going to take over the millennials here on Byte with us TikTokers migrating. And I just think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see a TikTok migration. When will Trump do it before the election? I don't know.
How would he be able to do that legally, though?
They'll have a way.
I mean, no, I don't know if he'll be able to do it legally. I don't know.
I don't think he'll need to, honestly.
No, if you warn the country that, like, hey, there's a huge security risk going on with China, that could be enough to go,
Well, let me put it this way.
All you have to do is go to Apple and go to Google Play. I mean, if they could do it with InfoWars app, they can do it with
neither one of those fucking companies are gonna ban TikTok. I can guarantee that shit right now. Look, both Apple and Google do multi-billion-dollar business with China, man. They're not fucking touching that shit.
See, that's the tricky thing, is like, I kind of agree with both of you, because on the one hand, I do think the cleaner route for this, the more appropriate route, would be just Google and Apple removing TikTok from their app stores after pressure from the government and other forces. But they love China because it is great for their money. Apple does so many things for China. Google does so many things for China. They both simp to China. But will they draw the line here? I tend to agree a little bit more with Phil on this, but I don't know. I could see them literally removing it too, but I don't know. That's a tricky one. Unless the government threatened the tech companies with like big regulations, I don't know.
Now, if CNN were to make an article saying that there was like white supremacist content on TikTok, and it was being allowed, it would be gone tomorrow.
But they have done that. They have said that. They said, like, oh, TikTok is giving rise to the alt-right. They've written articles about that.
Oh, do this. Like, they have to basically make it, like the InfoWars. That's, like, if they could contact, like, I guess, the CNN and stuff, maybe they would, after getting pressure from the liberal news.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but it's a big thing really happening there. And speaking of social media, Kanye 2020. What do we think about it?
It's a meme.
Yeah, it's a meme.
I couldn't have said better. Number one, his tweet when I first saw his tweets, I didn't think he was going to actually run in 2020. Because he never says that. Maybe it's a little bit implied, but he never really says that. I think he's eyeing it down the road more, but I think what got me to believe that he's gonna do something this year is when he did that article in I think Forbes, that interview he did, where he starts talking about all this shit, and I can't tell if he's crazy or if he's trolling. Because when he talks about how he wants to model the U.S. off of Wakanda, I laugh because it's funny. And that makes me wonder if I'm laughing because it's just so crazy, or am I laughing because it's so trolly?
Didn't Wakanda have walls though?
Yes, they did.
I don't know. That sounds pretty Trumpian to me.
Maybe he's gonna be a Trump hybrid.
Well, the best case is he could go and like get some people on the left who, didn't like Joe Biden because he's a straight white man and see him as the only person of color. So maybe they'd vote for him instead. That would be the best solution, like the best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's actually gonna. He's gotten kind of deep into this, but I don't think he's actually gonna do it. Number one, he can't even get on the ballot in most states. As you know, even an independent, he can't get on the ballot in a lot of states, and it just gets, as time ticks, it gets layer. He's not. I don't think he's gonna do it. I think he's testing things out, playing with things, maybe, or trolling or being crazy. I really don't know, but like he's put stuff on his Twitter that like is really, there's like some things about voting, and it's like really like half-ass stuff. It's like him in a hoodie like going into like a polling place.
Yeah, because you're talking about like Wakanda. It was like it talks about fatherhood, like strong. It's like pro strong family, like pro tradition. The it's like very it feels so like celebrates masculinity. Like I don't know, it's just like it feels like it's like Wakanda's like more conservative than anything. I always laugh when people are like, "Oh, Wakanda forever." I'm like, "Oh, you should probably be conservative, dude, because that's like Wakanda is like when I saw Black Panther, I'm like, dude, this is Trump's America right here. Like this is exactly like look, what was the message? We're one nation, right? Or we are one tribe. I think that was like the message, dude. That's like what America, right? We're all one America, right? That's totally.
Yeah, and then what's funny? I think you probably saw those memes that was like,
And
Black Panther
and
is so woke.
it was separate, and here's the kicker: it was separate, like they wanted to separate themselves from the rest of the world. Doesn't that sound like Trump's America, right? Now a little bit of nationalism versus globalism, right?
Well, didn't
And
you?
here's another thing. Maybe he is being a different voice. Maybe they're not accepting the message from Trump. Maybe they'll accept the message from Kanye.
Possibly.
I think that's true, but I think he's coming. Before he came off, I think pretty good. He was Kanye, but he was still bringing up interesting points with interesting policy ideas and perspectives. The stuff he's saying now, I think, makes him sound more crazy than interesting or fun. And I think that's the problem, is that now he's sounding a little too crazy. Like, as if there is something wrong with him, like a manic episode.
Did you see his like White House thing where he met Trump in the White House? And
Oh,
he had
yeah,
that
that
like
was lit.
conversation.
That was lit.
He was absolutely nuts in there. Like he seemed like he was an honest medicine, and he admitted that later. This wasn't the first time he's done some crazy stuff like this. I think he might just be off his medication, honestly, or maybe more of it. There's something wrong with it. And, I'm not just trying to go and like discourage him, but you can see from his previous actions and his current one, just doesn't make sense.
I mean, it could be. I mean that's highly plausible. But maybe he tries to speak in like relatable terms.
Yeah.
I know that's one thing he likes to do too. Instead of speaking to people in like the way we talk, he likes to speak in like relatable terms.
Well, I think
And
we're relatable.
uh-huh.
We're relatable though.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, from a lot of people, they connect with other instances in like the entertainment world. So like like with the Wakanda, I'm thinking he's definitely. I mean, like he's pro Trump with a lot of that, and like you have, maybe he was trying to model himself off of Wakanda to, maybe relate to a more Trump like America. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a that's a tough one to read, but I mean I wouldn't rule it out. That's all I'm
I see what you're saying, because that is possible, is that he's using cultural, you know, cultural things like movies that we've all seen to relate to something he's talking about. But when you read the Forbes article about him, they said like it was a 4-hour fucking like diatribe he was going off on. And I mean, I wish I was there, because then you could get a better sense of what it was really like. But he's still, he can't ignore him. It's interesting as shit. But like when he says stuff like, he's running for president under the birthday party with guidance from Elon Musk, and this preacher that's he's done things with before is going to be his vice presidential candidate. I just can't take it, and I don't want to say this because this is what the left said about Trump, but I can't take it seriously. And Trump I took seriously from day one, but Trump was a totally different beast. This is something he's been talking about, and he had all the campaign shit ready to go, and he ran as a Republican, like it was a legit deal. But this is a guy running under the birthday party.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I don't know. I always like.
And then he
I
said he
always-
didn't get vaccines because he was like afraid that they would put like chips in him. I don't even know if Alex Jones has said that.
Well, he probably did. I mean, we just probably didn't listen to that episode. But I mean, look, yeah, I mean, well, that is there's a lot of worries about getting vaccinated, like, oh, it could lead to autism, or these are people just trying to steal your DNA, or like they're trying to actually implant chips like it in the vaccines or whatever. Like, look, it's
How many
there's a
people
lot.
genuinely believe that though?
You never know. Like, look, people, like when people are coming around handing out vaccines or whatever, it's like you don't know what's in them, right? I mean, of course, we know what's in them, but I mean, like you, the main thing, like that I know a lot of African Americans think is like, I can't trust the government. Like, so it's very easy to go down that path of conspiracy theory when for years you haven't been able to trust the government, and deservedly so. Like, I mean, government's lied to African Americans for fucking decades, and now you're talking. I mean,
More than that.
I mean, I was being friendly, okay, with that number. I know it's generations, but like, look, but yeah, like I think it's very easy for them, like it's. I mean, you're I've actually ran into a couple of African Americans that are starting to listen to Alex Jones now, because
Yes.
like, look,
Yes.
I'm telling you, because again, it's like it sounds good. It sounds good to people who just don't trust the government, and yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You don't you want to believe something else other than what the government is telling you, just naturally.
Yeah.
Like when you've dealt with that much bullshit over the course of hundreds of years, like, you know, I think it's logical for them. You know what I'm saying? So and you got somebody like and you have somebody like Kanye who speaks in a different, like, I feel like he speaks in a different language, you know, but it's very relatable. It's very, I don't know. There's some stuff he says that's kind of out there, but then there's some stuff he says that's like, wow, that is kind of like, that's kind of legit. Like, I don't know. There is definitely a little bit of Alex Jones type there, you know, like
Well, and I
some of the
think
stuff
that's
Alex Jones says, it's
fine.
like,
But when you get into like vaccines or use like put chips in you, that's like way out there. I mean, that's out there. And there's a spectrum of like conspiracy level, like the birther thing. That's something that a lot of Republicans basically believe. Like, let's be honest. When that was a thing, there was a lot that did, but that had, even though that was kind of like out there, like it wasn't that out there, because there were some suspicious things before, like nobody knew his birth certificate. There were claims that he was born in Kenya, like, and I'm not saying those things are true. What I'm saying is there was stuff there to give you that idea. It wasn't like just some like random shit people thought of. But like, you know, I don't know if Kanye. I'm questioning him now more than I did before. Before I was on board, I'm like, this is cool, this is funny, this is interesting, this is fantastic. And now I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't know. And he says slogan would just be yes in all capital letters. And it's like, I
Is
don't.
there a movie with Jim Carrey?
I think that's
Or something
Yes
like that?
Man.
Oh, okay.
I'll fact check that. But there is the Yes movie, and there is Yes in 2019, which is based off a Broadway play. But yeah, the one Jim Carrey's called, I think, Yes Man. But yeah, it's I don't know. I still think it's interesting, anything Kanye does, but I don't know. I think he'll run one day, but I think it's not his time just yet.
and again, all this, it depends on really, it depends on what happens here in 2020. That's what I'm saying. This election is so fucking important. It is so fucking important.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling people, if you want Trump to win, you gotta get out there and help him win, because voting isn't enough. Mobilization is what we need. And I'm not just saying that because I work for the guy. That I really saw in 2016. You did too, Alex. Because of the mobilization efforts that were done, people got registered to vote that didn't vote before. People that didn't vote before were pushed to the polls. Because that's the thing about Trump, is that he's one of those candidates that energizes people that normally don't vote. And you have to make sure those people do freaking vote, because it's like, can't tell you how many people I call and talk to that don't know when the election is, aren't registered to vote, don't know how to register to vote, are too old and can't get a mail-in ballot, but you have to send them one. It's like, man.
Tucker Carlson said it best. Your job as a leader is to protect the people that trust you, that put their trust in you, right? It's the whole thing. That's one of the main points of being a leader, right? And we've seen it, right? And even me and Alex have seen it with, you know, with the Penn State GOP, right? Their leadership didn't fucking stick up for them at all. Like, didn't stick up for conservatives really at all. And we're starting to see the fruits of that with, you know, everybody else completely running all over the campus, right? And it's a microcosm for the big party, right? You know, they're not doing enough. They're not defending enough. They're not, you know, and if people fear for their safety, if they fear for their livelihoods, if they fear for that, like they're going to react. And more often than not, they're going to react in a way negative to you because they voted you in to protect them, to defend them. And if you're not doing that, they're going to take it out on you. Like I know they should be taking it out on the liberals, but like they're going to take it out on you because you were the one that they voted to protect them. So, just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about something Penn State did, which is that they sent out a tweet. And I remember seeing this because I think I shared it with you guys, or one of you shared it with me.
Yeah.
Back way long when this was actually a thing, like when they tweeted this out, or when it was a poster somewhere. I forget where I first saw it, and I laughed because the first thing I saw, it stuck out like a sore thumb, was when it said on the third line, "Dear conservative students, your viewpoints are important." And I went, bullshit. And then Penn State, during this COVID thing, people were bored and searching Twitter. They found this tweet and they blasted it out there. The leftist mob came after them and were like laughing at it, saying how they don't matter. These people are awful. And I couldn't believe it blew up. I was actually surprised. I'm like, this is old news, guys. Why are you talking about this now?
Yep.
But, a bunch of people were talking about it, and then eventually Penn State deleted the fucking tweet. They cucked, they caved, they did what they always do. And I went off on this on the college Republicans' Twitter, like the National College Republicans, because they talked about it and they showed it. And I laid down why we simply do not matter to Penn State. I mean, we know this, and some of us take for granted how we know this, but these institutions brainwash people into Marxist shit while ostracizing conservatives. And conservatives do nothing about it, as usual. Yeah. They just sit there and say stuff on Twitter, which doesn't prove anything, and they don't stick up for their own. So I think what we need to figure out is, because we know this is a problem, we all agree on this, but what are the solutions? What can we do to actually fix the institutions that have been overtaken by literal Marxists?
Well, we did our own thing. Like when we were at Penn State, we did our own thing. And that was the thing, because I mean, I just think with 2016, they didn't support Trump. The Penn State GOP didn't support Trump, and then so everybody else had to do their own thing, like all the other conservatives. And it's like, but like all the good people are, it looks like all the good people are gone, and now you're like, or they're hiding, which, I mean, that's another argument too. But I mean, you when you don't have, like, again, like these leaders, and I call them leaders loosely, they don't stick up for their own. Like and this is I talked about this at fucking nauseum over there when I was over there. Like, and everybody was saying, oh, well, this is Pluffy Phil going on one of his rants, and I'm like, no, this is fucking legitimate, right? This is if you don't stick up for the other conservatives that are on campus, it's fucking over, right? It is fucking over, because by not sticking up for them, you're going to embolden the left to keep going. Not only are they going to continue to do what they're doing, they're going to get even worse. You got to fight it. And, well, of course, they don't listen to me. And lo and behold, here what we're seeing. We got people, deleting tweets from 3 fucking years ago or some shit. And like, you gotta fight. You gotta fight it. Like, it's like because like it's like the bully, right? It's like the bully in school. You gotta stand up to the bully, or else he's gonna continue taking your lunch money, right? stand up, right? You got to fight back.
Well, here's the thing, though. I totally agree with you about the CRs, but they've sucked in the past, and I think they're all opportunists. But they are working right now, at least their leadership, and hopefully some of their members, with the Trump campaign. And I'm not seeing that from Turning Point people. And I've been telling them to do it in the group chats, and nobody's been listening.
Yeah.
And I think now is the time, just for a few months, for 4 months, to put these differences aside, unite the right, dare I say. Actually,
but no, come together.
do it properly.
Come together. Just come together. The thing would be to just come to band together, and you know, and you got to stick up for your own. Because it's
yes, but the thing is, we need to get Trump in. That's the only thing we need to do right now. Is we need to keep him in. So if they're doing it, I'm not going to attack them, because it's a waste of time to attack the right now. When the election's over, we can have all the time in the world to do that. We have 4 freaking years we can do that. But right now is not the time, because we have leftists that are tearing down statues, burning cities, and they want to tear down Trump's wall and want to destroy all progress he's made. Now is not the time to fight with CRs, fight with Turning Point people, fight with
the problem
Reuters.
is, if you're trying to grow this thing, right? If you're trying to grow this thing and you're trying to grow this campaign, you're going to need all the help you can get. And if people are scared to go to these meetings out of fear of being called a racist, sexist, homophobe, all that stuff, if you're getting doxxed, if you're getting followed, if you're getting hated on by the professors, if you're getting cheated out of grades, if all of this stuff is happening, you're not going to want to do it out of fear, right?
Yeah,
and it deserves so, and that's a natural reaction.
Bashing college Republicans right now is going to help that.
I don't care.
But how does that help Trump get reelected?
No, I don't. I mean, if they're going to vote for Trump anyway, who gives a shit?
Well, because they can help other people vote for Trump, and that's the key of a campaign.
Yeah, but they're not.
They are.
They are what? By making calls?
Yeah, that's how you do it. Wait, why do you think campaigns phone bank? Why do you think they door knock?
Yeah, but you're not growing the org, like when you're not growing to make it bigger, to make an even bigger presence, to help even more people. So your capacity
We're doing more in
is
Turning Point. I hate to say it, it really pains me.
But it's still not enough. It's like, oh, you're doing more than.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm telling Turning Point people to help out. That's what I'm telling other people
That's
too.
not saying shit though.
No, it is.
It's like.
I hate to say it.
It's not. Like
who
it's
in Turning Point is campaigning for Trump right now in the current club?
That's like the husband that beats his wife's ass but says, "Oh, at least I'm not raping you too."
Who in Turning Point is campaigning for Trump? Nobody, and that's disappointing me. What was that?
Charlie Kirk is.
No. I'm talking about the Penn State chapter, actually. Nobody is. That's what I'm saying is disappointing. Is literally the college Republicans at Penn State are doing more work to help reelect the president right now than the current Turning Point chapter. And I'm not laying that blame on anyone specifically, because it's like, and I'm definitely not doing it the leadership, because that's a whole different story of, I understand why our current president can't help with that, but I know an ex-Turning Point guy that's actually wants help with the campaign, but he's not replying to calls right now. But I've been imploring people in both chats, the CRs and TPUSA, and literally nobody in the TPUSA chat wants to get off their butts and do some work to help reelect the president. Now, that can change when the election comes closer, but there's a lot of people that are bored. They have plenty of time to type stuff online, but they don't have time to call phones. They don't have time to knock on doors. And, phone banking can be done anonymously. You don't need to show your face. You don't even need to say who you are. Your number isn't even shared. And I don't know, it's disappointing, because the reason I'm pushing unity so hard is because that's what did happen in 2016. Even with all the elements that were against us, it felt way more unified on the college level. And I don't even know why, other than the fact that it was just an exciting sort of revolutionary time. But I am shocked that we're now in, literally in 2016, CRs did nothing. Everybody else was doing something. Now it's flipped, which makes no freaking sense. CRs are doing something, and other people are doing nothing. So I say we gotta unify. Gotta put differences aside, because it doesn't help right now. It doesn't help. What does help is reaching out to people and doing something yourself and getting other people to reach out to people to do something. This isn't me saying this because I work for the guy, like I said. It's just I noticed this in 2016, and we worked when we were more unified. It's not working now because we're not that unified. Not saying Trump's going to lose or going to win. Just saying I want to be certain he wins. Does anybody else have any opinions on that?
Can't say I do.
Well, what do you think, Alex? Because you were on the scene in 16. Do you feel like we're having a unity problem?
Yeah, I would say. I think with 2016, like there was just such, like Trump was something that was never seen. Now, he already broke the mold. Can he break it twice? I don't think he can. So I think he's got to run this campaign differently. They did. If that makes.
Yeah.
I feel like we have an enthusiasm problem.
I disagree, but I do know where you're coming from on that. I think we're having a problem with getting people to do something, but I still think people are still turning out to vote because Trump has had record-breaking primary turnout. Beat Obama, like tripled his turnout in some states, even in 2008. I mean, it's unseen before.
What do you mean by going and doing something?
Volunteering, door knocking, phone banking, getting out the vote, getting people registered to vote. I remember in 2016, even in the early days, months out before the election, people would just walk in saying, how can I help re-elect the president? Or sorry, I'm getting into 2020 mode. How can I help Trump win? What can I do? I just don't see that now anywhere at the college level. Now I see it in some of these communities, there's a couple in PA I know where it's literally like that. But at the college level, that's where I'm concerned, is because this is where young people are. I saw so many people at Penn State that would literally come up to me, say, how can I help get Trump reelected? What can I do? Can I do this? Do you know anybody that can do this? I just don't even hear about that now. And it's it felt like before people would come to us. Now it feels like we have to go to people and plead them. And that's concerning to me.
I think part of the reason for that is because now people know that the risk is so much higher. So because you're going to get personed basically and harassed. I mean, there wasn't. You have to remember, Sean, that being conservative was always kind of edgy, but there wasn't this vicious, an attack on us like there was, 4 years ago that there is now. Am I complaining about it? No, but I think for a lot of people, I don't want to say that they're cowards.
They're scared. They're scared, and I don't blame them for it. And I've seen it, and I've heard it, and I think they're more terrified now than ever before. But, like I said, there are ways you can help out without revealing your identity. Phone banking can be done on your phone with a randomized number that makes you anonymous. But people still don't do it. And this is the problem I'm seeing, is that we're probably going to win this election. And I shouldn't be saying that because it's going to discourage people from helping out, but we're probably going to win. I'd bet money that we will win. But I don't think it's going to be because of things it was in 2016. And that is for some good reasons. But as a long-term, mission here, if conservatives continue to be lazy and not willing to go out there and fight for what they believe in, and live in fear and not fight for what they believe in, they're going to lose election after election after election, because just voting isn't enough. It simply isn't. I wish it was, but it isn't. Because Trump is a once in a lifetime candidate. When you get somebody that's going to come after Trump that's kind of cool, says the same stuff, maybe a few different things, they're not going to energize people. When you don't have energetic people, you're not going to get people coming out to volunteer and get out the vote. That's what happens. And so you're going to have 2018s all over again. Why did we lose 2018? We had low energy, low ground game. It was bad. And we lost. 2020 is a different story, but future elections, I'm afraid, are going to look more like 2018. And the Democrats, because of their cult-like mentality, they'll do all kinds of shit for their cult. And that's why they tend to have better ground games. I'm just saying, this is a discussion conservatives need to have looking forward, because it's concerning to me see among young people.
Well, I'll tell you what conservatives also need to do is they need to get more involved in the culture, war too. And believe it or not, this was a point that Ben Shapiro actually brought up, that, believe it or not, even a broken clock is right twice a day, but he was saying that conservatives just can't keep winning elections and expect to keep winning. Elections aren't enough. We can win elections all day, but even as we win elections, the pop culture keeps moving left, and so therefore people's personal thoughts keep moving left, and until we get more involved in pop culture and standing for our beliefs, it's not going to
I agree, but how do we do that? That's the thing that conservatives aren't talking about, is how are we going to do this when these institutions like education are 100% not 100%, 99% far left, and they ostracize conservatives, they shun conservatives, they make conservatives scared to even speak up in a classroom. How do you get people to change that climate?
One word: Donnie.
Yeah. No,
Well, I think that people should hop on the Meetup app, start these groups, make friends, and people won't be more so prone to attack you in these groups of you together. When you're by yourself, they feel okay, we can attack you and go crazy on you. But I think people need to get on Meetup and start their own version of conservative SIP, because we're making lots of friends doing that. We have our meetings. We have some plans coming along this year. We're still going to have an election day party. Some people who wants to do some activist work, but we're working that out because COVID has had us limited on what we can do in public. But we figured out a way to get around it recently, if you haven't noticed on my page. But honestly, you got to get together and now you make those friends in a group, and you guys make your own friends out. You can go and do things together. You found a friend at the group, make more friends, be together, because we don't have to be silent. We can be loud. There's more of us than we think. So if we come together, find each other, and go out, then they can't do that to us anymore.
I think that is good, and I think that does help. I've noticed that firsthand. I mean, when we do turning point meetings with, we bring people together, and it does energize people, makes people feel like they have a place where they belong. But that still does not change the dominant Marxist viewpoint of the campus and the brainwashing. Because there are people that come to campus that are kind of a blank slate, and then that slate gets filled with Marxism, and then they leave. And you see it in these workplaces. Look, That's why all these woke corporations partially are saying all this Black Lives Matter shit. It's like this stuff starts in university and trickles down in other places. And I think the only solution that will actually make significant changes is two things. If you hold these universities accountable and they go freaking insane, that's a good step. But you need conservatives in academia. It needs to be 50-50. If it's predominantly Marxist, it's only going to have one viewpoint. The only way you change that is to have more conservative professors. How do you get more conservative professors? I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. Because I don't think anybody's interested in doing it. Because they see it as a waste of time and that they're going to be ostracized and kicked out and harassed and doxxed.
I think it will help too if there's more options. We have more trade schools, more jobs that don't require degrees. I'm starting to see people like we're getting people with degrees who actually don't qualify for the job. And it's an issue right now.
Yeah,
Like IBM is looking for more like technical schools and more 2-year schools than someone inexperienced over a degree. And I think some companies are actually realizing that. And I think once there's more options of besides going to university, that might help.
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
that
think
is
people getting less people into the universities will help.
that is a good point. But I mean, I also hate to say this, and I've pissed off a lot of people by saying this, but like trade schools, whatnot, and like blue collar jobs, like I'm not necessarily discouraging, people from doing that. I think it's good. But there are also people out there, like myself, me being in a wheelchair, like I can't necessarily go into the trades, necessarily. So for me, college, is the best option. And there are actually like a lot of people, like that, to where they're not necessarily inclined to go for the trade. So,
Yeah.
for them, college is a good option.
Yeah.
And
But
yet,
and that's fine too. You're right. I mean, but I mean, I think one of those things is like they need to be college is good if you have a plan, like if you have a plan for what you want to do, right? If you have a plan
Yeah.
for what you want to do, and that plan requires a 4-year degree to get to that said plan, that got it. But if you're trying to, if you're trying to make money, I mean, or you're trying to just, build something for your life or whatever, and you don't really see yourself as like the college type, or you're not really much like, I mean, and that's okay too, you know. But if that's you, then maybe a trade works. Maybe, but I was saying this with a couple of friends earlier today. I'm like, well, we don't like everybody's bitching about the college issues and how do we fix this college mess. I'm like, well, we shouldn't be paying attention to the college mess until we fix the high school mess, because
I'm
high
happy you
school.
brought them up
Thank
because
you. Yeah.
because you know what, the trade schools and all the other stuff, there's schools that are already like doing the hybrid where they're you can get that certification, whatever you're trying to do while you're in high school.
Yeah.
And then they have relationships with the companies
Yeah.
as well, and the
Yeah.
university, so they're ready
Yep.
to move sooner. And so starting in high school with those are good. These programs are amazing with the schools
Yeah.
that have them.
Yeah.
They need to be everywhere along with school choice.
The demands are higher too. Like, okay, let's just
Mhm.
the
People
educational
wait
demands are higher now than they were,
a long time ago.
like, yeah, because like, I mean, I always hate when sociology people bring up the whole look, and I make no bones about it. I think sociology.
Say his name.
Sociology is the worst fucking major
Hi,
in
Jeff.
college. In college. But because so when they bring up the argument that, oh, black African Americans with a 4-year with a bachelor's degree make $13,000 a year less than white people with a bachelor's degree. I'm like, look, this statistic is bullshit. First off, what major are these people in? Because no one bachelor's degree is the same from the next. Like, I'm not going to expect a bachelor's in sociology to garner the same salary demand as something from like a petroleum or, mechanical engineering degree, right? There's a different demand to even get into the major. So of course there's going to be, much more of a demand for those types of majors, and therefore pay is going to be usually higher. So I can't, and like when I originally started as a computer engineering major. So like I ended up doing, the calculus 1 and 2, chemistry, physics, matrices, all that stuff, like, and computer science. I ended up doing all of that stuff just to get into the major. And like, well, I mean, with sociology, what's the qualification for getting into the sociology? Like what? Taking statistics and maybe English or something? Like, isn't that what every college student does anyway? Like, I'm like, there's not really a legitimate like prerequisite to get into a sociology. So of course I'm not going to fucking pay a sociologist anything above 40,000 a year or some shit. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Well, I think a bigger problem is that, yeah, these trade schools sound all well and good, but why aren't people flocking to them? And the problem is employers simply are still requiring a college degree for a lot of freaking well-paid jobs.
well, here's another
COVID
thing.
might change that, and I hope it does.
So the trade school, many of those trade schools have morphed into technical colleges, right? So we used to have a trade school over here, and then it became a college of technology, so they could, play the
I want to look
college
more
route,
legit.
suck up. Well, no, I mean it's for federal funding and shit like that
Oh.
too. There's financial plays involved with that, but like, but yeah, you like with it's a different environment. Like we should be promoting trades more, and we're not.
Well, I think
And-
the thing is, like, you gotta look at it from the employer's perspective. I mean, I think how employment should be based is just simply on skill. Can you do what we want to do? That's it.
Yeah.
Are you a decent person and you're not gonna steal or loot from me or, lose me money or, do sexual harassment? Like, it's freaking simple. But when you get a million resumes, you gotta sort through it somehow. And the person that has a college degree is gonna stay on the stack, and the person doesn't is gonna get thrown in the trash.
I mean, it
Unless they
depends.
have a stellar portfolio or something.
Well, so here's the thing that really kind of separates that, and I'm gonna push back on what you just said. The because one of my relatives actually works for or is like an alumni person for one of these trade schools. Many of these trade schools have partnerships with a lot of businesses, like local businesses. So you're doing the schooling, but you have a lot of apprenticeships, and a lot of co-ops where you're actually on the job and you're gaining experience while you're going to school. Like, so like that experience tends to be worth more than a college, and like, especially like the more experience you gain, the more reputation you gain, the more that stands out versus
I tend to agree, but how many people are getting into those apprenticeships and all that? Because like at Penn State,
with a trade school, it's a lot more than a college, because like colleges no, well, with colleges they tend to get very selective, and there's a lot of other parameters that colleges are doing, and corporate companies are doing, other than like, what's the need? Can you do the job? Can we mold you into something or whatever? It's more, there's a lot of tax credits and like grants and stuff like that, mainly diversity, that go with like checking off the blocks. Is like, can we hire this guy? Well, how many diversity blocks does he check off? Well, he's a he's a gay, black, whatever. And it's like, well, it's like these people start getting preferential treatment over some people that might actually have like a higher GPA, or has taken more extensive courses in a particular subject, or did more extracurricular activity or whatever. So it's like there's a lot in play when it comes to these colleges that that you really don't see with some of the trade schools. And
Yes, but when I apply for jobs, let's use advertising as an example, because I've seen a lot of freaking posts for ad jobs. Every single one requires a college degree. And
That's the human resources issue.
yeah,
but when I apply for these jobs, even
Well,
with
there's
my
a-
degree, I'm like,
Well-
and this is pre-COVID. Let me preface that it's hard getting your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And they also
there's quite a few people getting into your field though too. Like there's like
well, there's
like
too many, and that's part of the
advertisers.
problem.
That is part of the problem. Yeah.
It's an overflooded sort of, well, I wouldn't say it's overflow, but it's such a vague sort of field that kind of a lot of people can get into it. But HR is God, I don't know how you see. That's another thing. How do you fix that? Like, how do you fix HR? It's like a
Get rid of it. Ban
Yes.
HR.
yes, dude. If Trump banned HR before TikTok, I would be happier.
I don't think he could, but
I
it'd be
wish
cool
that
if he
I
did.
wish they would ban HR. So
Well, because I've had some
You know what,
issues.
you guys? We're
But-
talking
but,
about this, but
the
we live
media.
in the greatest country in the world, where we can be our own boss and start our own job and not have to deal with any of that. You don't need a degree or anything. You can start your own business.
Yeah, but well, here's the fun part about starting your own business. You gotta pay for your own health care. You don't have unemployment. You don't have, a guaranteed paycheck at the end of the week. It's nice. And
It's a
look,
risk.
It's a big
But it's a
high
risk.
risk, high reward.
Yes.
well, not
to
necessarily. I
kill
mean, my
yourself.
dad's self-employed, and
High risk.
well, there's not necessarily a high reward either. It's
Well, it depends what
It
business you
depends.
do.
I
Depends on
know.
what you're trying
But
to aim for.
what I'm saying is, trust me, because I want to be my own boss one day. I vented,
Same.
of how much I can't work for people, because it just, man, there's so many things that I have problems with. But you have to be a certain type of person to be able to be self-sufficient and really push yourself, and you have to worry about things that you don't have to worry about for a regular job. And it's beautiful. And look, I totally agree with you, Donnie. Like, it's beautiful that we can do that here. That's what's amazing. But
Yeah.
and the caveat I put in is because I think it's important to warn people that it's not easy. Like, a regular job, yeah, it's not easy, but it's definitely easier than starting your own business and having to worry about things that you normally don't have to worry about, and being liable for things that you normally wouldn't have to be liable for.
Hey,
Well,
I
you
got
can
real
still
quick,
point-
real quick. Well, sorry, Donnie. Flamethrower 82 asked, sociology, what kind of job will that get you? My friend, okay,
None.
sociology, a degree in sociology will get.
HR.
Hey, let me finish. Look, that bachelor's degree in sociology will get you a great job at the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh my
See?
goodness. Ooh la
Yeah.
la.
See,
Take it.
it's not a complete waste of money. Okay. Not like
I
not
hear
like,
they have the best
In
working
management?
conditions.
It's
A
not.
management or
Don't
an
pay attention.
associate?
Don't pay attention to Pluffy Phil. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Wait,
Look,
in management or as an associate?
As an associate.
well, It's an associate, but with room for growth.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
You could
You
be
know what?
working on the factory floor
Well-
one day, but working on the second level of the factory floor the next day.
Maybe you go and upgrade and move to
Well,
McDonald's.
Well, I also have a friend who has a sociology degree,
hmm
and this friend is actually how I met Fluffy Phil and Sean in the first place. And that guy with his college degree went back to Penn State and is now teaching sociology.
Well, he's a TA, right? He's a TA.
Well, yeah, but admittedly, from what I
Yeah.
hear, the professor is kind of a lazy fuck, and so he,
Oh.
and so the TA teaches.
I will
Wait.
attest. I will attest. He definitely is.
He at
I
least,
will
but he
test.
does teach the class though. Sam teaches the class. Not
Yeah.
you, Sam, but the
yeah,
professor
yeah,
Sam.
no, I know, and I'm
I was
so,
trying
I'm,
not to bust him out, but yeah.
and I'm sorry, Sam Richards. I've never met you, but yeah, based on what I've heard, yeah, my friend basically teaches a class for you. So
Well,
And
that
he
cat's
gets
out of the
paid-
bag.
Like how much does he get paid? He probably gets paid like $10 an hour or some shit. I heard Penn State doesn't pay their employees shit.
I don't know, but see the point, but like see there's always the joke of like
Not unless
But-
you run the place. If you're an
Mhm.
administrator, they pay you pretty goddamn good.
Six
but,
figures, baby.
Yeah.
and there's always the joke that if you get like a gender studies degree, what can you do with that? You can teach gender studies to other college, like. So there are these degrees out there, and sociology is one of them. Where like the only place you can really get like a good job, relatively, is in academia itself. So, so there's definitely that. So
Look, I'll be blunt. Who wants to work in academia? Honestly. Like when I get a college degree, yeah, there's some things I'll come back for college, have some fun, visit it, nostalgia. 'Cause trust me, I do miss it in many ways. And I do want to do one more big thing there. But I want to move on. I don't want to live
Well,
in college or live in
here's the-
academia. Live in a high
You know,
school.
I used to want to do that actually because I used to tutor when I was in college. When I was at the TCC, Tarrant County College,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized a lot of people who came in didn't know how to write, and it was really sad because they were missed over in high school and middle school, and so it made me want to do it. But then I realized I like sales so much and commission checks that that overweighted and it was more fun and challenging. But at the same time, I can still teach, but just not in a classroom.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, because like the thing with classrooms, like especially elementary, is like I don't want to handle the kids. Just can't do it.
Well, here's the thing though about like academia, is that it's probably one of the easiest. Like a college professor, it's probably one of the easiest jobs. Like, you can get decent pay, and you get unions, you get medical benefits. It's not a bad gig, like especially to retire on.
Yeah.
Especially now with all these online classes. Like I wouldn't mind retiring doing something like that, but I wouldn't really want to be doing it, for my main gig for most of my life. But I wouldn't mind it.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: is like, especially in college, all they have to do is literally show up for a class or two a day, have the TA or their, basically like their slave, grade the papers, and the tests just go through Scantrons now or are automatically done online. What do they honestly have to do? Like a regular work, day for somebody is like 9 to 5. You're constantly working, usually later than that. Usually you start earlier than that. A fucking college professor doesn't have to do anything like that.
Hey, speaking in front of other people and fucking the students is a very important job, okay?
it takes a it's a
That's true,
delicate
but you know what?
balance.
There's a lot of the universities are hiring way more adjunct professors, way more part-time professors. They're not hiring hardly any full-time professors. That was an issue when I was in school.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
probably don't want to pay
When
for
I
them.
was at Trinity
Yeah,
College
it's
and at Texas A&M.
it's because it's the adjunct professor's the cheaper option.
Yep, it's a part-time gig for them, and they have another job somewhere else
Yep.
that's their full-time job.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard that too.
And what's the focus? What's the focus on the students in the curriculum then? When you have to go find a full-time job.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I mean, academia is a weird sphere, but I mean, it's kind of started because I just want to change it. I have some ideas, but man, I just feel like there's not a strong enough resistance to it just yet. There was a strong resistance back in like 2015, 16, but like it's not seen anymore. But one thing I did want to mention that was really cool that I got the special opportunity for my job. So one of the days I did love my job was in Lancaster. Vice President Pence was visiting, and Trump supporters and a bunch of other people organized a greeting of the vice president where they'd stand on the road, side of the road, with signs and flags, and wave to him as he drove by. Because he landed at the airport and he was supposed to come by in his motorcade or a bus or something like that. And I was there, and I saw the bus coming up, and the whole motorcade was a big, Trump-themed bus. And we're all standing on the edge of the highway, and we're waving to him and all that stuff. We're taking pictures, and it's really cool. And he's in the bus at the very front, Vice President Pence, and he's waving there. You can see him in the glass, and it's going slow. But then it stopped, and we're like, wait, is he gonna get out? Like, he's done that before. I don't know if he's gonna do it though. And then you just hear the air brakes go like, and we're like, oh shit, he's coming out. Uncle Mike is coming out. And the doors open, and Mike freaking Pence walked out, and he waved to everyone. And for a few seconds, Secret Service, of course, rushed up there, like real quick, and his PR people and press. And then he got back on the bus and left. It was super freaking cool.
Hey,
And yeah.
Hey, speaking of Uncle Mike and whatnot, I do have a question. This is going to be kind of unrelated, but is Trump's brother's Twitter account real, or is
the Rob Trump, I think it's called.
yeah, is the Rob Trump is that real, or is that a troll? Because
Is it a blue check mark?
No, it doesn't have a check.
No, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
If it's Trump's brother, it's gotta be. The president's brother. Obama's brother has a blue check mark.
Yeah, that guy's nutty.
Base Malik.
Yeah,
Goofy.
but I mean, Trump's if it is Trump's brother's account, then he's equally, nuts and goofy.
No, he is a base, man. Red pilled. Did you see the shit he was saying? He's like, I know, like, rich and famous people, they're like pedophiles or something, or they're related to Epstein or somebody who's gonna like drop.
My favorite tweet was I have breaking news on all these celebrities if you want to know. If you want me to spill the tea on
Oh, that's the one I
like,
saw.
And everyone's like, yes. And then one
He
of my
deleted
favorites
it.
like,
Wow.
And then one of my favorites was like, it might be deleted, but it's something like there's something up with Taylor Swift. She doesn't sleep. Let's just say she doesn't have any interest in men, or something like that. So
Y'all notice something about these supposedly like divorces and separation, like Will Smith and Jada Pickett, or
Yeah.
Will Smith and Jada, and then you have Ellen, and I'm like, and then these RIPs keep popping up. I'm just like, yeah, you guys, I'm really thinking y'all are definitely guilty because you're all trying to distract with these divorce discussions and breakups, apparently. Right after people tagged Ellen and the RIP Ellen, that's when the whole story came out about her separating from her wife.
Well, did you see the stuff that was? I think it was Jada's daughter or cousin or some weird connection was with Shane Dawson, and then there were those videos coming out where Shane's being a creeper with these little girls. Has anybody else been keeping up with that drama?
Yeah.
Mm,
No. Yeah. It was weird. So.
Oh, by the way, because I've just been looking this up, Rob Trump's account has been suspended.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I mean.
But that
He
tweet
did-
sparked
he-
my interest too, and I retweeted. I was like, "Yo, let that tea out."
Well, I mean, he called Taylor Swift a lesbian, basically, which I'm like, I'm not really surprised. So, I mean, I don't like Taylor Swift at all. Partially
Neither.
because I have an ex-girlfriend who back in high school used to look like Taylor Swift, but was also like creepily obsessed with Taylor Swift too. It was weird.
Well, she looked like Taylor Swift, and man, I don't blame you for being with her.
Well, but she was also like creepily weird too, where like she would like write like stuff on Taylor Swift's like Facebook timeline, like we're basically sisters and whatnot, and and it was like really weird stuff. So, and just like Taylor Swift, she can't find a guy anymore. So.
Well, what is
Hey,
Taylor's?
let's be fair. Let's be fair now.
What was that? I didn't quite hear that.
I said, hey, now let's be fair now.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bitter because she cheated on me, but
Oof.
So,
She deserves a burn for that. That's sort of.
thank
I
thank
wonder.
you.
What was that?
you, Sean. My hatred feels validated now. So.
No, I don't blame you for a second for hating on that. I mean, Taylor Swift was actually born near me in Reading, PA. Fun fact. She was born in kind of a smallish town. But what is her relationship history? I should check that out. She's still single, isn't she?
Probably.
No, I don't like her.
She is. How old is she? She is 30. Okay. Oh, she's only 30. Shit. I didn't realize she was still that young. Okay.
There's still a chance, Sean. You can go after a slightly older woman. So.
Yeah, you could go. You could get her, and then she could write a song about you once you break up with her.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'd be famous. Finally.
Here's my thing. Have any of these fuckers that she broke up with sued her for royalties yet?
Ooh, they should.
They should. I think from what I've heard, some of them were thinking about it. So.
See, that's how
Some
you
of
do
these
it.
relationships are staged and fake anyways. There's probably some kind of agreement on letting her use her names because most of these relationships aren't real anyways.
Yeah.
There's nothing on her Wikipedia page like for relationships. Usually there's like that section that's like personal life. I don't even see. I need to freaking Google it.
These relationships are for albums, like legit. Like isn't she always have a breakup right before an album comes out?
That's when you know a new Taylor Swift album's coming
marketing
out.
to me.
Yeah, that's when you know a new album's gonna come out by Taylor Swift. Is when she's broken up with somebody. Let's see.
Well,
she's had 12 relationships according to Billboard.
Sorry.
12 relationships and their songs. Wow. Epic.
Yeah. Well, that's why no guy wants to date her now, is because they know if they do, they're gonna get a song written about them eventually. So.
Yeah.
That's the reason why that's the first time I actually really liked Kanye West. That was the first time when he took the mic from her. I'm like, dang, I really like him now. Let me pay a little more
No,
attention because I've been
she's like
wondering why she was getting awards over people. Well, I'm like, why is she getting awards? And I'm starting to realize that there was payola and there's the pandering. I realized these are all rigged now. Back then, I was very disappointed. I'm like, she'd be Pink, she'd be Lady Gaga, she'd be Beyonce. How? So when the Kanye took the mic away, I was like, yes, please, because that doesn't make sense.
well, she's a country singer that sings that's liberal. Like that's like just a conflicting fucking lifestyle. Like, oh, like who wants to date? Like they start talking to her like, ooh, you're a country girl, huh? Like, oh, now I'm actually kind of a liberal. Oh yeah, let me exit stage left.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, and then the thing too is like she came out as became popular as a country singer, but then she was beating people in pop awards. So it didn't make sense. How is she a country singer but winning awards that's outside of her genre?
Apparently, she broke up with Joe Jonas on a 27-second phone call. Oh,
Oh, it's so staged.
Yeah, that was probably staged.
All this stuff
everyone.
is
Well, oh, and by the way, when I opened up this article, I'm gonna post this in the chat right now. Look at what I just. Ugh, I can't believe I saw that. Well, I can't believe, but look what I fucking saw.
Oh my god.
This giant ad with this stupid new pride flag in a circle around the Mercedes logo.
Yeah, the Zimbabwe pride flag.
Look, the OG pride flag with just the rainbows is perfectly fucking fine. But then they went, shit, Black Lives Matter during Pride Month? Fuck, what are we gonna do about this? Who's more oppressed now? Oh, shit. I don't know what to do. Let's just put them together. Let's make one flag. Let's bring black people, trans people, Black Lives Matter, and Pride together. And we'll call it the new Pride flag. And it's going to have nothing to do with who you love anymore. It's just going to do all the identities. This is the stupidest flag ever.
Did you guys see my latest tweet? Or one of my latest tweets that I put out, or are you guys like?
No, that shit gets shadow banned, Sammy boy.
Yeah, I figured unless I tag you guys and shit, you guys. Well, so basically, I tweeted out that since it's July, I'm coming out as pro LGBT. Liquor. No, I didn't say liquor. I said liquor, guns, beer, and titties. And
Yes.
You guys want to hear something really cool? It has nothing to do with what you're saying. I'm so sorry. But you want to hear something cool?
Yes.
Sure.
Always.
So when I had retweeted the show earlier, I said, where y'all at? Hop in the chat. If you guys go and take a look at who liked that post, Watch Chad was one of them.
Who?
Oh.
What was that?
Oh, really?
Chad.
Oh, yes.
Y'all should screen. That's dope. Maybe he watched. Maybe he's watching. You don't know.
Well, if he is watching, I apologize for my foul mouth, but I'm kind of
Yeah,
like.
me too. Yeah, 'cause I'm a foul mouth.
Guys.
I'm a foul mouth motherfucker, and I will take nothing back. Nothing.
But
So-
I hope.
So hold on, guys. Let me tag you guys. Let me tag it in the post, right? And then you can pull it up on YouTube and show it if you want to. So hold on, I'm gonna tag
The
you.
only men that watch our show are Chads. We know it now. It's just it only
But-
makes sense.
We're all a bunch of chads.
Okay, oh dang it. See, you know what's weird? When I post something, sometimes I accidentally put a Q. I don't know how it happens. So when I just tag you guys, there's a Q there too. So I just tagged it so you can see what post it is and you can show it on your screen. So you can see what Q tagged it.
It must be QAnon.
Oh God, Dottie, you posted a Q. Now we're gonna get all the weird trust the plan.
No,
I
we're
don't
gonna get all
know
the
how it keeps
boomers.
happening. I didn't even realize it. All I did was tag your name and then I looked at it like, oh, there's a Q there now.
It's Q.
So,
He's everywhere. We're gonna get all the boomers that are just like, oh my god, have you read the latest Q? And I'm like, there's a latest Q.
I'm at the point where like I'm still like I still have no idea what that is. Can someone please explain that to me? And they're always like, it's complicated, and I'm
It's
like,
some shit poster on 8chan who claims to be an insider, who releases information in like these dead drops that basically, tells the internal stuff of what's going on in the Trump administration. And everything's going according to the plan. For some reason, boomers, I never even thought they'd use 8chan, but they somehow got a hold of that.
Well, the thing is, with Q, it's probably honestly multiple people posing as Q.
Fucking fake.
It's a fake thing, and I think it's just a Facebook meme that boomers started believing and like diving down the rabbit hole.
It's not from Facebook though. Like it's from
No, I know
8chan.
it's not, but it gets shared on there a lot. And that's where boomers hang out. Boomers don't go on Facebook. I mean, on 8chan.
hey,
They download what was it, the Q app now, and they have these other things that go like extract it from 8chan. His like latest post.
Wait,
They have like
did you
bots that
find
do that.
Did you find what I tagged you guys in for?
I was just
I'm
gonna
an
mention that.
insider. I'm an insider on 8chan. I talk to my contact. I talk to my contacts whenever my mom isn't yelling at me for not doing the laundry or cleaning up the dog shit in the backyard.
I did see the thing you tagged us in, Donnie, and I clicked on the guy's account because I didn't know who he was at first, but Chad Prather Parler, he's a host on Blaze TV, and he's got 168,000 followers, so he's a pretty big deal.
He's premier shit right there. That is premier.
Premier shit.
You gotta share the like though. You gotta show the screen because I don't see it on the screen.
Yeah, well, I did show a few. Yeah, oh my god.
Look, I mean, he's like, yeah. I mean, I like some of I like some of his stuff. Like some of his stuff is very is very insightful. Like
he's running for
when
governor.
he talks about, yeah. I mean,
I'm voting for him.
I mean, I would too. Like after this shit, isn't Governor Abbott talking about shutting the fucking state down again?
He's not gonna do that.
What the
He's
fuck?
not gonna do that.
But talking about it is gonna piss a lot of Texans off.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Well, me included.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
look, Texas is an awesome state. Okay, you piss people off. You tell people that you're gonna lock down the fucking state, man. You're gonna piss a whole lot of Texans off.
And the ones who voted for you on top of that.
Yeah.
So
well, I know Alex Jones recently bullhorned his house because he was pissed off at him. But I'll look at see his full quote on that because I didn't pay attention to it much, but I did hear stuff. He says that Governor Abbott says failure to mask COVID-19 spike could create necessity of closing. So he's saying it could happen. Doesn't necessarily mean he wants to do it.
Yeah, but the fact that you entertain the idea is enough to piss somebody off.
Me included. Very much. And it's like after I made my rant, the very next day he made it in mask. I'm like, done with you, period. And then Chad said he's running for governor. And I'm like, you know what? I will volunteer. I'll do whatever I can to make sure you become governor. And 2022.
Well, see, so it's 2022 is when the election's up?
No, Governor Abbott will be running again in 2022.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Abbott's going to win then.
Let me just ask a quick question to everybody on board. Did anybody see the video of Donald Trump in a mask at Walter Reed?
I did.
I was so badass, man. That was such a badass video.
I didn't see the
badass.
I didn't see the video, but I saw still pictures of it.
He was walking with all these top guns. I mean, it was badass.
I'll post it, dude. That's freaking the opening to Reservoir Dogs right there.
Such a badass, man.
I actually I caved today, and I went on Amazon, and I actually bought a mask. So
Good boy.
Well, I mean, it's good to be considerate of others sometimes, but I don't. The only thing is, it's like, I mean, if you want to wear a mask, great, but you shouldn't be forcing people to do that shit. Like,
Oh, I mean,
Good choice.
I've been wearing masks, but like I was wearing hospital masks, and so I actually went out and bought them, and it's like,
it shouldn't be like you shouldn't be forcing people to wear masks like our shitty governor.
Well, I
Like,
don't think you need to. That's the thing.
No,
It's
he
like,
said in his executive order, if you're not in your house, you need to be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that noise?
Dude, like seriously, like it is too hot in Texas to make people wear masks. Especially if you go out and wear makeup or something. Oh my gosh, that's gonna look weird. I wore a scarf and I
well,
pretended like I could keep it up. And that's what I did.
well, here's the thing. It's like I think Wolf went too far when he said like when you're outside you have to wear one at all times. I think that's stupid because when I'm outside, I'm not around people, so there's no need to wear it. But if you're going into a store, if you're going into a crowded area, you should wear one. And I don't think you need at this point. Look, I can understand the mandatory mask wearing thing back when we were shutting down. Yes, totally get it. Fine. But I think now when people get what's going on and with people very socially aware, you don't need to force people. I think it's unnecessary, so just don't bother doing it to keep everyone kind of happy. And I think for me, I wear it all the time. Wherever I go, wherever stores I go, I like when I'm working, I'm away from people, so I take it off. And people where I work don't wear them, which makes me nervous at times. But I wash my hands a lot. But I don't. I don't know. I think like with the president, when they criticize him for not wearing masks, I think most of because when he's getting tested all the time and people around him getting tested all the time, he doesn't need to wear it, and it optically looks better when he's not wearing it, unless he has to. Like when he's going to Walter Reed Medical Center, yeah, I think he should kind of wear it, and that's why he wore it. And but if you're not around a lot of people, and if you're around a lot of people that are already tested and confirmed that don't have it, yeah, you don't need to wear it. And, when you're like Biden wearing it, looking all goofy,
someone
yeah.
someone should just go around the city, right, or go to the mall wearing nothing but a mask, shoes, and a shirt. That's it. Because you ever see the thing, no shoes, no shirt, no service, right? You should just go to the mall with a mask, shoes, and shirt, and that's it, right?
Wait, you know what? I wonder, like, do nudist colonies have to wear masks too, or is that still like considered okay not to wear that?
What?
Like in nudist colonies, are they making them wear masks?
Yeah.
What's that?
Like they're getting yelled.
That's where people can go, like it's groups, communities that don't wear clothes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like put on your mask, damn it. Your big old balls are okay, but man, just put on that fucking mask.
Hey, your balls can't transmit corona.
I imagine it's basically like a YMCA, like a shower.
You have experience with those?
Just a bunch of old people walking around with no clothes on, just some like dude with like balls hitting the floor.
Isn't that like?
That's every time. There's always some old dude in the fucking bathroom, and he's like washing his balls off for 40 minutes. Probably like looking at the young kids over there. It's.
Oh, did the Viagra kick in yet?
Like I'm telling you, go to your YMCA once it's open. Go to your local YMCA. Go to the locker room. I have no idea what happens to the ladies' locker rooms, but if it's anything like the men's, you'll see some old person with like, at least in the men's, they have set like balls that drop to the fucking floor and like a hairy asshole just like washing himself and showering the whole time. I don't even think he goes in the pool or anything. He just goes to shower with other men.
It's actually the same, but minus the balls.
Breathe.
There's other things in there.
Oh shit!
It's actually the same, but there's just other things hanging, but there's not balls.
Yeah, I kind of figure that. It's, like, I don't know why old people just flock to those.
They just don't care anymore, man. They're just like, man, I live my life already. I don't care. Look at me.
To quote
Fine.
Black Lives Matter, I can't breathe.
I used to be on the
don't like-
swimming.
I don't like those big old balls.
Oh my
'Cause
god, there's a
I feel like they're beating the shit out of me when they're having sex.
There's a guy at the gas station who's wearing a black shirt that says "I can't breathe," and he asked me for my number, and I said he wasn't my type. So
Wow. Wow.
he was like, "What do you
Shut
mean?
down.
What do you mean I'm my type?" I go, "I don't like your shirt." And then just walked off. He kept talking. But I walked off.
Wow. Wait.
He says he can't breathe. Ask him if he has a coronavirus.
Be like, no, bro, 6 feet, 6
It's
feet.
like, yeah, I can't breathe when I'm around you, girl.
Wait, no, I'm just I'm curious. Like, how long was he talking to you before he asked for your number? At a
No, he
gas
was just
station.
staring. Most times they just stare at you, and then you have eye contact on accident. Then that's when they talk to you.
That sounds
Yeah,
creepy as
Well,
fuck.
that's what I'm
he's
saying. It's
better
like, how
off-
quickly did he jump to, hey, number?
Oh, right. First thing he said.
What the fuck?
He's better
That
off
happens
doing
all.
one of
That
those
happens all the
corny-
time. That's normal.
Donnie,
That happens all the time at gas stations.
Donnie,
Yes.
how many guys hit on you?
Well, we have one. It's Sam.
I have.
See, Sean, you should have been. That's what you should have been doing instead of doing the virgin shake. You go and ask their number just straight up.
Shut the hell
should-
up.
You should. You're better off. He was better off just doing the old corny line or whatever, something like, "Hey, I seem to have lost my number. Could I get yours?"
Oh my god, no. See, look. Okay, you want me to do that, Alex? Did he get her number in the end? Did he?
No, but I'm sure you probably got someone's number at some point.
Well, yeah, some like
You know,
in a
You
gas
do it
station.
enough times. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get like the cream of the crop, the quality bread, wham
You do
when
it in
you
the hub. or
at a
something.
gas station, and the first thing you say to every woman that walks through the door is, "Hey, can I have your number?" Totally not creepy.
Well, see,
Yeah.
you do it at the hub.
You do it at the hub. Oh yeah, because I'm at Penn State right now. I can just do it at the hub.
Well, no. I mean, now I think you have a. I think you're taken. I assume.
There is that too, yes. But we're
Yeah, I don't
speaking
think T would be
hypothetically
very
as if I
happy.
wasn't right now.
Well,
I could see
yeah.
it. I could see it now. Like Donnie's in a bar and some dude is like up on her. I'm no photographer, but I could picture us together.
Oh my god.
Do you have corona? Because you're taking my breath away.
Oh,
You guys just went up on each other. Maybe you two should date. How about that, Alex? Phil? You
No,
know?
I already have a girlfriend.
Yeah, but we can make it progressive. We can make it progressive. A polyamorous, two-spirit
I-
relationship.
do you
No.
do you have sunburn, or are you always this hot?
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
See, I should have actually like tried that if I had balls back in the day. Like when I was a freshman, I should have just done that and see what happens. Cause that
Dude,
could like
you could have. There were so many other times you could have, gotten your dicky sticky before that.
well, yes.
Like they were basically walking into you, and you just didn't see it.
well, yes.
You had opportunity. You had opportunities, Sean. All right.
But I also had standards.
That's
That's
We
true,
didn't even
isn't
know
it?
that person was hitting on you.
What?
that's my biggest problem. Even my mom says I have too high standards.
Well,
so-
look, I've learned you need to maintain quality standards. Like, you do need to have high-ish standards, but you can't have, like, ridiculous standards. Like, she's
No, I-
gotta have
I
a
don't think-
4.0 GPA. She's gotta have, like, she's gotta be, like, 5'8". She's gotta have, like, a perfect, like, shaped, like, hourglass
Well-
body. She needs to, like this weird
not-
anime I
we're
watch.
not saying having R. Kelly standards, but have like some, have some to Just saying.
I think R. Kelly's
Like-
standards were rather low in the age department.
I know.
But it's
As long as you're a 14-year-old willing to be peed on, you were good enough for R. Kelly.
You know what's crazy though, that they attacked R. Kelly like crazy, and Bill Cosby, like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein. They didn't really have that same kind of media. Isn't that crazy? I wonder why.
I think for Epstein, they were just afraid of like what dirt was on them. Like, what
Well,
does Epstein
because
know about me?
well, you know why? Because they
Well,
were
they
huge
donate to the
Democrat
Democrats.
donors. Yeah.
Yeah, but
huge
so was
Democrat donors.
Oh fuck. Well, no. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. I mean, they attacked Weinstein a lot. I think like he was always kind of a meme, but I think Epstein was a. I mean, Epstein was
But
a
that was
meme in
us,
some
though,
ways.
not the left,
Hey.
not the mainstream media.
Well,
Yeah.
Epstein died too soon. He killed himself, allegedly.
Yeah.
Not.
But you gotta admit, Chocolat was a classic.
Is that an R.
Wait, was
Kelly
that-
song?
No, that was the Harvey Weinstein movie. Never
Oh.
mind. Fine.
Mm.
Fine. This is-
Man, he made a lot of movies. Like that's really disturbing. I remember I was watching one. I'm just like, oh, I know this dude who made this.
He produced Pulp
Sad.
Fiction,
Yep.
which I remember when I
Wonder
saw
if-
like recently. I was just like, oh no, oh god.
Wonder what
that
those
name.
actresses had to do to get in there.
You
Yeah,
know
what
what
would
they
Uma
had to
have to do?
Probably the same. Good lord, probably the same shit that like fucking that girl from iCarly had to go do with her feet to get into the fucking. Who is that guy? With all those Nickelodeon movies.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking of.
Oh fuck! I actually know one of the guys that busted.
Dan Schneider, I think, or
Yeah,
Robert
Dan Schneider. That's his name.
Yeah, that guy. How's he not like busted yet? How have they not like pressed charges against that dude? Like you can tell. You go and like turn on that show. Like when I was a kid, I noticed it, but I didn't really know what the heck was going on. But like looking back now, I remember seeing like a screenshot of a tweet, and it was like go and like like to go and see what Sam or something names her toes or like dips her toes into someone's mouth. I'm like, dude, this sounds like fucking smut.
But here's the thing. It's like Harvey, they had the fucking, wire, that, basically incriminated him. Epstein has all these files and whatnot. What would they have on that guy?
There's like documentaries on YouTube about some of the stuff. Like apparently they had these kids go to this like pool party and like had them take off their like shoes and like show him his feet, and they did some like really weird shit with that. But,
I bet, but do they have like solid evidence that can incriminate him like in a court?
That's the thing. Like, I mean, if you
Yeah.
watch a show, you can tell there was some foot stuff going on. I think they caught like him like naked with Miranda Cosgrove like a day after she turned 18 or something. But I don't know. It's there's something going on there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Come on, just look at that show. There's some foot stuff that and their kids. Something's not right.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. It's just what becomes unfortunate is like, nailing some of these people is hard. It's
Yeah.
and I think it's weird that I mean, also because he wasn't a big name, like let's say
Dude, he was. He made like huge, like every.
no. What I
fucking
mean is
popular-
like he wasn't like Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's a big name that everybody knows. Dan Schneider, nobody knows who the fuck he is, so it's harder to cancel someone like him or really go after someone like him. Weinstein
Everyone
had a
knows the
huge name.
shows he made.
Yeah, but
you
nobody
know?
knows who the fuck he is.
Well, I didn't know who Weinstein was until I saw, he made all these movies. Like he was the director.
Well,
Yeah,
in
but
some
either
ways,
one.
yes, but Weinstein was very well known name in the industry, and his name was on the beginning of every freaking movie he produced, and people did make jokes about him before, like what's his name from Family Guy and all that shit.
Yeah,
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, McFarlane. So that's what I'm saying is like, I mean, yeah, there are obviously this guy is, in the industry and he's made it, and he is technically big, but like, he's not a household name, and he's not in the zeitgeist, and he's not in the,
Well, he
it's
got
like
away with it. That's why. He was under the radar enough. But like, I mean, he made like hit shows. Like I think he made like All That, iCarly, Drake and Josh, Sam and Cat. Like he produced a lot of like huge hits for Nickelodeon. But like, there's always some feet stuff in there.
yeah, it's freaking weird for sure.
It's time to go and cancel that dude.
Well, actually, here's the thing that I know Milo was talking about, and I think it's interesting. Last thing I'm going to bring up for tonight is, should the right start playing the cancel culture game? You know? I mean, the left cancels right-wingers, or tries to all the time. They try to cancel, they kind of did cancel Milo with the...
Well, the right has nothing to fucking cancel with. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they don't. The left pretty
Cernovich
much
did it.
Well, but I mean, the left owns pretty much everything. Like, they own entertainment.
So you have
Pretty
lots
much.
of targets. Cernovich
I
got
mean,
James Gunn dropped from Guardians 3 and totally screwed his career.
I mean, well, the left does eat its own, but it's not like, I don't know. I mean, it's
The left is destroying America.
yeah.
Period.
I mean,
I want to make this point. We didn't discuss this at all yet, but I've been trying to make this point. And the right attack this and use this as a tool against the left. So who was president in 1937?
FDR?
FD
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo. What is FDR?
Democrat.
Progressive.
Yes. And then who was in the House, Senate at the time? Democrats.
Yeah.
They all had everything. And so when FDR was trying to do exactly what the blue states are doing now with marijuana, is do all the taxing and high regulations and figure out how much you actually have on you, that was FDR, right? And then the judicial branch said, nope, that's unconstitutional, not doing it. Then Congress pushed it. So Democrats have been pandering throughout the debates and everything about legalizing all these drugs. All these people have been locked up for years, and they're the ones who did it. Why isn't the GOP talking about it? Like, when they say these things, why aren't they using that? Why are they saying that? Like, you're not necessarily saying, I agree with weed, but these are the same people who are trying to say it's going to be legal now, are the ones who locked up people for the same things. These people who made it illegal in the first place.
I think people will quickly, because this is what they did with Obama too, with the gay marriage things. They say, well, they've changed, they've evolved on issues, and people kind of think of it that way. I think
that's not fair, because you did it. Like, the common sense, like, wait a minute though, you're the person who made it illegal in the first place? No, I don't want to vote for you. Like, that's common sense for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, people forget things that happened like even a week ago, and so I think
over 80 years ago.
Yes, that's the problems. I think it gets sort of it feels so far ago that they don't see any sort of recent connection, especially when the Democrats are the ones legalizing it everywhere. The Democrats are effective at overcoming that.
Out of it.
What was that?
And regulating the crap out of it too, just like FDR. And a lot of these candidates who've been running have been quoting FDR. He says he's a Democrat. He's actually, in my opinion, a communist, a socialist, whatever you want to call him. But FDR, he did that. And then he had Bernie Sanders and them who quote FDR, who are telling you they're going to legalize it, but they're not really going to do it. They're just trying to get your vote, pandering to young people. Obama didn't do it for 8 years and didn't do it. Actually, he was under his administration, the DEA was taking all kinds of people's property, assets this whole time. The Democrats don't care about that. They just say that stuff to make you vote for them.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground tonight. Is there anything, actually a small thing I want to mention. Sam, because I know Sam would probably relate to this. Did you hear about a big musical death recently?
Which one?
Ennio Morricone.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yes, guy that wrote all the music for the spaghetti westerns like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Once Upon a Time in the West, and I guess you could say it was made by a spaghetti western director, but Once Upon a Time in America. A lot of big movies. He died at 91 the other day, and I didn't even notice it till literally last night.
Yeah, no, he did pass away, I think, earlier this week. Did we cover Kanye West at all?
Oh, yeah.
Thought we did, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
It might have been before you joined, I think that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll cover Kanye tomorrow if I can get my stream working. But yeah, crazy stuff. So
Yeah. Any last words from anyone or anything anybody wants to plug?
Vote
um,
for Trump. Vote for Trump to save frickin' America. Vote for Trump or F you.
follow Donnie on Twitter
Because
because she deserves it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
and then
God.
follow the rest of us on
Yeah, make sure you vote. That's like the most important thing, because you know these Democrats are going to be coming in like with massive voter fraud. I mean, we're already seeing like dead cats get fucking mail-in ballots. Okay, so
Yep.
like for fuck's sake, just get out there.
Hey, Whiskers vote matters too. So.
Mm-hmm.
My
Black
favorite joke
Dog
about
Lives
that
Matter.
is my grandmother was Republican her whole life. When she died, she turned into a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how that always happens.
Always.
But yeah, I encourage people to not only vote for Trump, but get other people to vote for Trump. Volunteer for the Trump campaign. Do everything you can in your free time, because voting isn't enough. I will say that. That's going to be like my message for the next 4 months. I noticed it last cycle, and man, am I noticing it now. Voting is not enough.
You know that Glee star Naya Rivera, she's like still missing. But guaranteed she's gonna pull around to come election year.
They'll give her a mail-in ballot wherever she is.
and it'll just she'll fill it out miraculously.
They're like, yeah, she was like in the cell and everything, but she had her mail-in ballot in her pocket still.
She was in the middle. She was at the bottom of the middle of the fucking ocean, but then she managed to hand in her ballot. Oh my God, it was just like that was really cool of her to vote for Biden like that. Very, very awesome.
Yeah, well, I will say with the mail-in ballots, last thing I'll say is, like, if you can't for whatever reason get to the polls, if you're worried about something, use a mail-in ballot, because it's better than not voting at all. If you think you're not going to be able to vote in person, just do it. There's security precautions in place. They'll know that one's sent to you, and if you get and you send it in, you will be counted. But that's all I have for today, so we'll see you guys next week with more of the shenanigans, as we are about 120 days out from the election.
All right, later, Gators.
Take it easy.
Bye.
God bless you guys.
Adios, muchachos, and as always, make sure you wash your hands, because if you don't, you will kill everyone in the world. So have a nice evening. Okay, YouTube, come on. So I ended it perfectly, but YouTube is taking forever to load to bring up the stop streaming button.
Yeah, so I don't think